Warning! The Stone Age Gamer podcast includes a lot of bad language. Cover your motherfucking ears.
Good evening and welcome to the Stone Age Gamer podcast. I'm Chris Randazzo and joining me tonight is Crystal Energy Bucket, Dan Ryan.
Crystal Energy Bucket. I love it.
I feel like I squeaked when I said good evening.
You did. I was just going to let it go.
I got like a bunch of gunk in my throat, and I should have cleared my throat before recording. Anyway, it's time for the February 10, 20, 30, 40, where we talk about notable video game releases from decades past. How did the Valentine's month... I was like, what the hell did I write about Valentine's Day? How did the Valentine's month fare that 10, 20, 30, and 40 years ago? Don't trust that naughty Robotnik, because the Stone Age Gamer podcast starts now. I love Sonic 3, but its plot is fucking ridiculous. Hi, everyone. This is episode 503. It's the week of March 1st, 2024. And Dan, how the bloody heck are you?
Oh, I'm pretty good, Chris. I'm pretty good. So I'm going to start with, though, this is a heck of a way to start a podcast, because I don't want to forget to tell my Billy Joel story. Okay. I said to remind this, so it's I don't know, like nobody else cares, but I'm going to say it. Have you listened to the new song yet?
No.
Dear God, Chris, that really does not help with the impact of this story. Okay.
I say pretend I did.
Okay. So, Billy Joel's new song is called Turn the Lights Back On. And the song is about it's about him waiting for all of this time to come back and put out new music, but it's also about like relationships and parenthood and all of these things, and it's got in such a beautifully Billy Joel kind of way. It has such a simple way of getting that message across, right? Where it's, did I wait too long to turn the lights back on? Which is such a lovely way of putting that, of did I wait to, like, do people care still that I'm putting out new music? Have I been a good enough father to my children because I've been on tour my entire life? Is it too late for me to be dad again, right? Like, there's all of these very, very strong emotions that are going on in this song. It's a beautiful piano melody. He's one of the best piano players that there has literally ever been. The guy is incredibly talented, and I think he has a wonderful voice, especially now that it's a little older and a little gruffer, right? So Saturday last week, I'm sitting down in the Jose Canseco Executive Annex, and I'm flitting around. I'm cleaning up the office because it's just, it was a little dirtier than I would like. It was just some stuff that I had like a cereal bowl that I hadn't taken upstairs yet, that kind of thing. And I'm flitting around on YouTube, and the only thing that I had seen so far was that there was a music video that was just like a lyric video, right? And I was like, okay, fine. And as I'm flitting around, I see that there is an official music video for Turn the Lights Back On. I'm like, all right, sweet. Let me check this out. So I click on it, and it starts with Billy at the piano. And the shot moves in kind of close on his face, and then it goes down to his hands as he's playing the opening notes of the song, and the melody starts, and then the camera starts panning up, and there is a cigarette and an ashtray on the top of the piano. And this is like all one, it's not one continuous shot, but it is one continuous shot. Because when it pans back up to Billy's face, he has been de-aged and looks as he did when he put his first couple of records out. He looks like the Piano Man Billy Joel, right? And it's wonderfully done. It looks as good as young Tony Stark in whatever, if that was Iron Man 3 or Avengers, whatever one that was, Civil War. It looks that good where you're like, oh my God. And the voice is matched up perfectly. And even to the point where where his reflection in the top of the piano is matching young Billy Joel. And as it goes throughout the song, every time it gets to the chorus, there's another camera pan like that, and it changes into a different era of Billy Joel's career. So you start with Piano Man, you get to the Uptown Girl phase, you get to the We Didn't Start the Fire phase with the sunglasses and the whole thing, and it's all interspersed with these like home movies and pictures of him with his kids and all this stuff. It's just really, really beautiful and goes along with the sentiment of the song quite well. And I am sitting here in this office bawling my face off. I am crying like I have skinned my knee and I am in pain. The tears are streaming down my face. It has just hit me in such a way that I can't, and I don't even know why. I'm sitting here, I'm like, maybe I'm feeling particularly fragile right now, and I didn't even know that I did. I didn't even know that I felt that way. But I am fucking Julia Roberts ugly crying down here in the office, okay? So, a couple hours later, Tiff gets home from work. And I'm like, babe, listen to this shit that happened to me today. I have to show you this video, right? And she does not love Billy Joel the way that I do, because she's not from New Jersey. So I show her the video, and she gets a little misty-eyed. But not, and I am on the couch now, again, just crying, just tears streaming down my face. And she looks over at me and she goes, I know why this is happening, and you're not going to like it. And I was like, oh my God, what does that mean? Earlier in the week, Chris, it was Valentine's Day, right? And because we're basic bitches, our anniversary is on Valentine's Day. And I did a very, very nice thing. I surprised her with a renewal of our vows downtown in the town where we live on the main street. There's this beautiful heart sculpture. We went down there. There was this little ceremony, renewed our vows. It was very, very cool. And when we got home, as one would imagine, we made love, Chris. It's what we did. The beast with two backs. We had sex, okay?
Thanks for piecing that together for me.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were picking up what I was putting down. Now, here's where this is way too much information, and if you would like to skip past, you may. But Chris has to hear it, so I think the rest of you should too. So Tiff had a hysterectomy a number of years ago. That is not news. We have talked about that on the show. Trying to have more kids almost killed her. She had to have a hysterectomy very, very early. That was very unfortunate. Because of that, she has to be on estrogen because she doesn't have the lady bits to make it. So she has to get it synthetically. And one of the new ways that they do that, and gentlemen, if your wives have not gone through a hysterectomy yet, or they haven't hit that age where they need synthetic hormone, they will, so you have this to look forward to as well. It's really more of a PSA that I'm giving here. One of the ways that they do this is through a vaginal ring. And this is a ring that is inserted, and it releases every day a small dose of estrogen. And Tiff's theory is that because it was early enough in the month, I must have bumped into the ring enough times to get some on me, and that is what has made me so emotional the last week.
I'm not sure what you want me to say here.
I don't know where you go with that information. But I thought I have to share this. I have to share the fact that I somehow, inadvertently, had overdosed a little bit on estrogen. Not even overdosed. Had just gotten more than I normally have in my system, and it instantly turned me into a fragile, crying baby. because there was a nice song on the fucking television. It's like, I gotta let everybody else know. I don't know if they want to know, but now they do.
Well, all right. I don't know what to do with that information.
No, I know you don't.
Congratulations.
But this is the kind of show we have, Chris.
It is indeed.
This is what keeps the listeners coming back.
This is what keeps the lights on.
Oh, man. You really should listen to the song. It's really, really good. It's really good.
I'm sure I will at some point. I don't really have much connection at all to Billy Joel, which I know is like sacrilege.
Blasphemy
in New Jersey. But
in New Jersey. It is an absurd part of your character.
One of many.
No, it might be the most absurd.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, no, like, you have lived in New Jersey your whole life. Your whole life.
I lived in New York.
Billy Joel, you're like, yeah, that's New Jersey adjacent. Let's be honest.
It's North Jersey.
Yeah, it really is. But like, because I get, like, Bon Jovi is from New Jersey, but nobody's like, oh, you don't like Bon Jovi? Pfft, get the fuck out of here. Like, that's not a thing. It's kind of that way with Bruce Springsteen, but he is outwardly political. There are people that don't like him because of his views and that sort of thing. Like, I get it. Bruce Springsteen's not for everybody. But Billy Joel?
I had an ex-girlfriend who, what was it? She hated Billy Joel because of some sort of negative memory attached to the song In the Middle of the Night. She fucking hated that song. Ruined Billy Joel for her forever. I don't know what it was.
The River of Dreams song? In the middle of the night.
Yeah, that one.
I go walking in my sleep. Yeah, that song sucks. That album is terrible. It's the last thing he put out. It's not great. Everything before that is fucking brilliant, though.
I will take your word for it.
You really... Pressure? Oh, it's so good. Anyway, so that's some shit you know about me now.
Good times. Well, I had to go back to the dentist this week.
Oh no! Good or bad?
I'm not thrilled by it.
Oh, okay. I have no teeth left, so
the dentist is an hour away. Like couldn't just go to my regular dentist. Like, so a small sharp bone poked through my gums.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, like I kind of felt it coming, and I was like, all right, well, maybe it'll just continue to heal over this. And then no, it just it just poked right through the gums and was bleeding. I was like, okay, this sucks and it hurts a lot. So I'll call my dentist. And they're like, yeah, we're not going anywhere near that. You got to go back. You got to go back to the surgeon. That's a surgeon thing right there.
That is a fuck you kind of thing. Go there.
My dentist is right up the street. The dental surgeon is a fucking hour away. Naturally. So I was like, all right, make an appointment, drive out to the dental surgeon, and here we go. So I went out there, and he was like, all right, I'm gonna take a look at it. I open up my mouth, and he was like, yeah, this is just a thing that happens. It might even happen again. And then he fixed it with no warning. He just grabbed the tools and just got to fucking work, and it hurt like a motherfucker. He
sucks.
Snapped off the little bit that was sticking out there. I just went in with that little, the little hook thingy that's on the end of a stick. He just starts yanking on my gums. Hurts like a bitch. Mouth is filling up with blood and spit. He's just like,
which is like, super hot.
And then he walks away for a second. He go like, put something down, and I was like, oh, well, that fucking hurt. And he was just like, yeah, I'm almost done. And then he called like one of the nurses, like, can you get me a bone file? I'm like, what the fuck? And he just gets right back in there. More just pain and blood. And then he's like, all done. I'm like, what the fuck was that? He's like,
can you get me a sharp knife?
Like, it hurts right now to talk because like my tongue from talking rubs up against that spot. like my gums all around that area where the tooth was pulled are all fucking sore because he was yanking at him with that sharp thing. So they just got cuts all over him.
The fucking worst.
Apparently, like, sometimes when you do this, your body just has a big tug of war with itself where it's like, your gums are like, okay, I'm going to heal over. And then your bones are like, there should be a fucking tooth here. And
we're going to put something there.
Your jawbone's just going to start growing pointy shit. And I'm hoping that it doesn't happen again because I don't want to fucking go through that again. But even if I did, what would have made it okay is if he just, like, gave me a second. He was like, I'm just going to take care of this. It's going to hurt a lot, but it's only going to take a minute. And I'd be like, all right, let's do it. I would be okay.
It's going to suck real bad, but fucking bear down, rub some dirt on it. We'll be okay.
We're not going Novocaine or anything crazy like that. We're just going to handle our shit and move on with our day.
We're going to put on our big boy pants and we're going to be men about it, Chris.
Give me a heads up. That's it. Instead of I thought he was just going in there to look, and he just went right to fucking work, and it hurt
sucks, man.
Like a bitch. So
well, like the worst part about that shit too is that, like, whenever something happens in your mouth, you cannot help but find it with your tongue.
Right,
the
100%.
Fucking time, all day. You're just like, what is that? I'm going to keep rubbing it. I know it's the same thing, but I'm going to I'm just going to keep fucking with it the whole time.
I can't not. It's in my mouth.
No,
I'm constantly aware of it.
It's there all the time. It has not assimilated itself into your overall being so that, like, it's not like your fingernails. You don't feel your fucking fingernails growing, But, like, it's mouth pain is among the worst things we have ever endured as a human species.
That
individually, not like as a group. Obviously, like, there's way worse shit as a group of people, but, like, individually, as far as, like, personal pain goes, like, your back, fucking stupid, what a horrible design, just a garbage design from start to finish, and your mouth. Like, you didn't need to put nerves in there. You didn't. I know when shit's hot. I got an app on my phone that tells me my coffee's 135 degrees. Perfect. If it's any hotter than that, I'm not drinking it.
Oh. Man.
Yeah, no, that sucks, man. That sucks. That's way less fun than getting a little bit too much estrogen on your dick. That's way less of a fun story, Chris.
Yeah, sorry.
You and your bloody mouth. Oh, man. So I was going to say earlier, I was like, I'm going to save it for the show. I think I mentioned last week that I was like, man, I think, and if I didn't mention it, my kids and I were having a conversation of, like, we want to get a game for the family to play. Right? And because my kids are going to be 15 this year, which is absurd, but, they don't want to play. I mean, they really liked last year we played through Shredder's Revenge, and that was super fun. And beat 'em ups are fine, like Castle Crashers and that sort of thing. But they really wanted to play something not that, right? Something a little bit more mature, a little bit more adult, if you were. So I was like, I've been hearing nothing but good shit about Helldivers 2. It's Starship Troopers. It looks fucking great. The trailer looks great. It looks like it really understands the type of game it's trying to be, like, with its humor and all of that stuff. It's only $40. It's a perfect game for us to play as a family. I'm gonna go pick it up. I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna grab it. Let me just check though. Because wouldn't you know, I'm going to go to the store, we'll buy this game, and it's not going to have local multiplayer. And it does not have local multiplayer. It is a 4-person squad-based shooter that does not offer the option for couch co-op. And I was
just like Splatoon. What the fuck's up with that?
Fucking bummed. And, like, so the Splatoon one is probably the same reason that the Helldivers team gave. They said the Helldivers team said they're not necessarily saying no forever on that. What they are saying is that in their internal testing early on in the game's development, they found that in order for the game to deliver an experience to the player that they were satisfied with, the PlayStation 5 was simply not powerful enough to do that on 4 different sections of a screen at the same time. And they said, that's what we think right now. Maybe it is, and we haven't figured out how to do it yet. We're not saying no. If we can figure it out and make it playable in a way, like with all the effects and all the stuff that's going on, maybe we'll have to reduce some of that or whatever. We'll certainly look at it in the future. But for right now, and I just I suppose I get it, and maybe that's the thing with Splatoon as well. Like if you split that screen and you're ultimately, I suppose, running the game twice, right? Like is that the argument there? Am I understanding that correctly? That's what they're trying to say? Like you're running the game twice at the same time.
I don't know.
And the Switch can't handle that. But it can handle Mario Kart with all of the nonsense going on in Mario Kart just fine.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure when you're doing it on a single system like that, you're really just presenting the action. Like you're having everybody play at the same time, but all you're doing is just presenting the action from 4 different camera angles. Like you've got the same thing that's happening. You're just processing one set of gameplay, but then you're showing it from different camera angles. I know how the Virtual Boy worked it had to process the game twice for each lens because it had to process a different image to make the stereoscopic 3D happen.
Yeah.
But that's not how split screen works. I mean, the fucking Super Nintendo did split screen.
Yeah, I found that to be a weird answer.
That doesn't sound okay to me.
Because I feel so many games. Yeah,
Splatoon is Nintendo being Nintendo. That's what that is. Splatoon is
okay.
Splatoon is 100% like, no, this is an online game. Okay, well, it can be both. Fuck you.
Stuff can be 2 things. No, it can't. We're Nintendo.
I've never heard of this Helldivers game before. I've never fucking heard of it before this week. And you just talked about
everywhere.
it. And a bunch of folks were talking about it online angrily. I think everyone's angry at this game. Is that what's going on?
I've only seen positive things. I
have exclusively seen negative things about it.
Really? The one thing that really sold me on it, Dean mentioned something about it. He texted me. And he was like, dude, you got to this game is for you. And I was like, yeah, I mean, it fucking looks that way. But then I saw some random dude on Shitter, was like, you motherfuckers were all up in arms about Pow World. You were like, oh, they just stole Pokemon. They stole Pokemon in Minecraft and gave them guns, and you guys were fucking losing your minds, blah, blah, whatever. And then Helldivers 2 comes out, and nobody gives a fuck that it's just Starship Troopers. Nobody says shit because this game is actually fun, and you're angry about Pow World. And I was like, all right, I get it. Starship Troopers. It's a great fucking movie. I'm in. Shooting big bugs, and I showed the kids the trailer, and we're like, yeah, let's fucking do it. Tiff was like, I don't really want to do it, but I was like, fuck you, you're gonna anyway, because there's 4 of us, we're just gonna play that way. She was like, yeah, all right, I guess so. It's only $40. But yeah, I've seen nothing but positive reviews for this. My negative thing is that it doesn't have fucking local multiplayer, man. And that's just not a thing that I've cared about for so long, because my kids have not wanted to play the same games that I've wanted to play, and things like a beat 'em up are obviously going to have local multiplayer. It would be absurd if they released Shredder's Revenge and they were like, nope, multiplayer's online only. Well, then nobody's buying it. you know? But looking at a game like this, it's a 4-person squad-based shooter. Why can I connect? Why just sell me a console that I can only connect one controller to then? Yeah, like at that point, you know, why can I connect? Can I connect up to like 5, 6 controllers if nothing's going to let me? It's weird. It's a weird thing. I'm disappointed. Because
I would be too. I'm constantly disappointed that there is no local multiplayer in Splatoon, and I don't know. I feel like local multiplayer can sometimes be overlooked, and I think it's an important thing.
Yeah, like I was looking at a list of like what are the couch co-op games, like really, you know, PlayStation.com. Here are the amazing multiplayer games for couch co-op. All right, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
It Takes Two, which looks like a fun game. That's fine. Fortnite, EA Sports FIFA 23, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, NBA 2K23, Gran Turismo 7, Sackboy, Dirt 5, The Show, like it's sports games, and then like a couple other things. Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, like, okay. Overcooked, fine, but like that's not what they want, you know? Madden 23, WRC 10, FIA World Rally Championship. Like, it's all sports shit, you know? That's a bummer. Or Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And I don't want to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare because that's too fucking real. I want to go shoot a bunch of big bugs with my family. And, like, they're not interested in Diablo or Baldur's Gate. Yeah? I don't know. It was weird. It's a weird thing.
That's some bullshit.
It is, right? Like, I feel like it's some bullshit. Because then I'm looking around, I'm like, all right, well, that new Monster Hunter game is coming out. Like, if that has local multiplayer, then all right, we'll go do, you know, that'll be fine. But, like, what sucks about it is that we couldn't even do it to where 2 of us could play. You know, because we have, well, or 3 of us. There's a PlayStation 5 in the house, a PS4 Pro, and a PlayStation 4. Okay? So we could have 3 people playing if we all bought a copy of the game. So for the 3 of us to play, we would have to hook it up on 3 different systems, each getting a progressively shittier experience while paying $120 to do so. That's not a thing we're going to do. So, you know, kind of a bummer. Games.
Nah.
Yeah,
that just doesn't sound fun.
That was going to be the game that I was going to talk about this week. And instead, we've just continued to play through Uncharted. You know, just kind of here and there. We really haven't had a ton of time this week. Like I was telling you earlier, we had to take one of the puppies, emergency to the vet. These dogs really do. The crazy thing is that, you know, we built the whelping box for them, and it's like, okay, that was fine for the first couple of weeks, but they're 11 weeks old now. They can't be in a cage all day. They just can't. That's not fair to them. It's not good for their development, all of those things. So, okay, the option then, though, is to unleash 6 30-pound, 11-week-old puppies into my home. You know, we can go outside and romp for a little bit, but it's been raining so much and my backyard is torn to shit so badly from all the other dogs that there's no grass back there. It's all just mud and dirt. So they just bring all that back into the house, and then they're trying to jump up on the couch, and a couple of them have figured out stairs, but not all of them have figured out stairs. So it's just like, God damn it. There's no time for gaming. We can't watch TV. We can't watch a movie. You know, unless it's like real late at night and we've put the puppies to bed and we do it real quietly. We watch the Marvels. last week, but it was real quiet so that we didn't disturb the puppies. Like, shh. After like 10:30 in my house, shh. Everybody shut the fuck up.
It's like that
don't make
movie.
Don't make a lot of noise.
Quiet Place.
It really is. That's what my fucking life is like after 10:30. My life turns into a quiet place. It's the fucking from like the rest of the day is what I imagine that Matt Damon vehicle. We bought a zoo. I imagine that's what my life is like. I haven't seen that movie, but I imagine it's very similar to that. And then at 10:30, it turns into like a combination of The Quiet Place and The Bird Box. I don't know why we're blindfolded, but we are.
The blindfolds to keep it interesting.
Keep it sexy. The Marvels was great, by the way. In case anybody still hasn't seen it.
Yeah, it was great.
That movie's fucking dope. And I figured out why people didn't like it. I think I've got it figured out now, Chris. It's the same reason people didn't like Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. The last couple of Marvel things, apart from Secret Invasion, which was just shit.
It's fun.
People don't like it because what Marvel is doing right now seems to be that they are actually making comic book movies, not action movies starring comic book characters. Because the Marvels and Ant-Man and those were fucking comic books.
They were comic book as fuck.
And that seems to be what people don't like about them.
Well, you know, there's
the
there's
Marvels
that.
Also because there's a woman, and how dare she have breasts?
People hate Brie Larson because she said something that wasn't pro-man at one point.
How dare she? Honestly,
it's cool to hate the MCU now.
It is a little cool to do that, which is fine.
It's super
whatever.
Cool. That's if you like the MCU, then you're a Disney shill. Like if you like Marvel movies, then you are sucking Disney's cock. That is fact. You can't enjoy these things anymore because they're all objectively bad.
Fair.
Let's see, there was another.
That's fine.
There was another one too. But yeah, there's a lot of reasons people hate these things, and granted, some of them haven't been as good as the older MCU projects.
Sure.
And as we all know, if something is less good than something else, then it's garbage. It is 0 out of 10 filth that everyone should be ashamed of, because hyperbole is the single greatest thing in the history of the universe.
It is. So, I mean, if you really think about it, though, Chris, there have been just movies, not counting the TV shows, certainly not counting the Netflix shit that is now canon, or the Fox shit that is now maybe canon. We'll see what happens with Deadpool, because, yes, we all hate the MCU, except for Deadpool. We all fucking love Deadpool. We're still going to go see that one.
All that other
Deadpool's
stuff
still cool.
is canon adjacent, which is what I hate about multiverse stuff.
Sure. But if we discount all of that, since 2007, there have been 33 movies that have been released. And how very dare they not have every single one of those, just like every other studio. No other studio releases a bad film, Chris. Or even an okay film. Every other studio releases nothing but fucking cinema.
Especially
each and every
DC,
time.
Everything Zack Snyder does, the DC
nothing
movies,
has been bad. Nothing has been bad. They've put out 33 fucking movies, man. Like, there's going to be a couple that you watch that are like the Eternals, and you go, that was all right. That was fine. It wasn't horrible. It was like Thor: The Dark World. Like, yeah, it was cool. Feels like a waste to Christopher Eccleston, but that's just me. You know, it was fine. They're not all going to be the fucking Infinity War. It's just Marvel's was fucking great. It was great. I could not, for the life of me, as we watched that movie, figure out what people could legitimately be upset with in that movie. Trying to be as as
similar to a lot of the
subjective in my
negative
viewing
reviews.
as possible.
Because I've seen a lot of negative reviews about the new Avatar show, and
Okay.
I'm not
The
saying that
Netflix
it's
vehicle?
perfect. Yeah, the Netflix thing.
Yeah.
I only watched the first episode. It is definitely not perfect, but I rather enjoyed it. But some of the reviews that I read seemed like they were written before, like they were just written by people who couldn't wait to trash this thing. Like there were sentiments
That's
being
fair.
expressed in there saying that it was worse than the Shyamalan movie. Like, okay, you haven't seen this. You were just waiting for this to release so that you could say you hated it because
You had this written months ago.
yeah, you were ready to hate this from the get go.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, people
That's a
are weird.
It's a weird way to be. I don't know if you want to dovetail that into this YouTube video that I shared, or if you want to.
Now we'll talk that in week old news.
Okay. It's just I found it very, very odd. If you are the type of person that can watch literally anything at this point that stars Iman Vellani, the girl who plays Miss Marvel, if you can watch her and take away anything other than joy, I seriously feel bad for you. That kid is pure joy. She is having the fucking time of her life, man. It's just
she's marvelous. I can't wait for whatever's happening with her. Like when she met up with the Hawkeye at the end.
Oh my god, it was so good. Spoilers. I'm
like,
but
yeah, I'm very interested in watching these two together because she was also great.
You didn't think you were the only kid superhero, did you? I was so fucking good, man. Like, and she's just got this fucking smile. Like, she gets that she is in a comic book movie, and this is just fucking fun. Like, this
and
is
like
just,
I heard
fun.
One of the complaints I heard about the movie was that it didn't seem like it was building toward anything. Like, who the fuck cares?
Then you didn't watch anything. I mean, one, it was, but two, even if it doesn't, you're right. It doesn't have to.
Not every movie needs to be building towards. It could all be building towards something in a subtle way. You know, it could just be something small.
Spoilers. The fucking ending credits scene of that movie was Iman Vellani talking to Haley Steinfeld about forming the Young Avengers. So that's building something. And then the post-credit scene or the mid-credit scene, fucking, she wakes up in the X-Men cartoon universe. Is what we assume.
Yeah, that's...
Or some sort of weird amalgamation of the film.
Yeah, because it's like they mention Charles, but it's Kelsey Grammer doing Beast, so like...
But he's in the white lab coat.
Right. It looks like the cartoon.
It looks like it's supposed to look like the cartoon, but also the movies. Like, I really think when they cross them over and we get the X-Men in the MCU, I don't think it's going to be the Fox X-Men characters. Because, there's just no way that they're going to, like, give up on all the stories that they could retell. I also don't think, like, I've seen rumors out there that people are saying, like, oh, well, it's going to be the X-Men cartoon universe. Those are going to be the X-Men that we get in the MCU. And I also don't think it's going to be that because they've already done all of the big stories and Charles is fucking dead. So, like, I don't think... I think it'll be some weird amalgamation where they'll pick and choose some X-Men, but, like, they're going to cast their own Wolverine. It's not going to be Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
like,
they want somebody who's going to be around for a long time. And they already started this whole mutants just starting to appear thing with Iman Vellani and Ms. Marvel. Like, there was she's a mutant, not an inhuman in this. So, like, they're building... I really hope they're not going to do anything as far as, like, pulling X-Men characters from another universe. I hope they build it organically and we get all the good stuff. Like, wouldn't it be great if we started with, like, the original team plus Ms. Marvel, right? Like, if those were the original sets of mutants we got, you know, Beast
I
and
really
Cyclops
hope so.
and Jean Grey, and, like, I want it.
I hate those X-Men movies so much. I really do. I understand people love them. I just don't think They're very good. And I really wanted to love that. I really did. Like, I tried really hard. I like a lot of X-Men too. And here's the thing about me. I enjoy X-Men 3 the most out of those 3 Fox X-Men movies. I know. It's objectively a bad movie with a bad script.
Horrible.
It's bad.
What do you
I
like
enjoy
about that
it.
movie?
It's not the first 2.
Oof.
And the first 2 are so serious and stunted, and I don't feel like the characters are right. I don't feel like the actors were right for the character. I fucking hate those movies. I hate them. I know that I'm way in the minority on that. I really, really do.
I mean, they're not great. It's not like, I love that first X-Men movie because superhero movies they weren't great. Like we were coming out of the Joel Schumacher Batman movies and that was nothing. And then X-Men happened and
was so good.
Yeah, but Spider-Man was after X-Men.
I know. But
like X-Men came out and was like, oh wait, you can actually do this and make it a good movie? That's awesome. You go back to it now and it's like, wow, yeah, there's some things, but then on the other hand, you get wonderful moments in that first X-Men movie.
You're a dick. That one was pretty good.
When they call you Wheels. and one of my favorites, just because it's such an absurd line, certainly is a big round room. Fucking love that line.
I think it's a bad script. Like, for example,
bite your tongue, sir. As a Metal Gear fan, you are going to besmirch poor David Hayter's work. How dare you?
I am. I don't think it's a good script.
Solid Snake's going to come and smack you around, sir.
I hope so. Please sign me up. I would pay for that. I don't think if you put Halle Berry in Famke Janssen's role as Jean Grey, and Jean Grey, I'm not ignoring the color thing for right now, just for the purposes of this exercise, the 2 actresses, if they switched roles, I don't think the characters are any different at all, the way that they are depicted in the movie. They're virtually the same person. There's so little actual acting happening. Like, they're just kind of there saying their lines, and that's kind of it. Whereas, even though I don't love the X-Men cartoon, if you look at the X-Men cartoon, Rogue and Jean Grey and Storm and Jubilee could not be any more different as characters. And if you watch the movie, Jean Grey and Storm, they're basically the same person in that movie. Because it's a bad script.
I don't know that I agree with that. I mean,
Storm. I don't think you've seen it in a while.
Storm's a big nothing burger, like in the X-Men movies. But
which
I like
really pisses
Jean.
me off.
Yeah, that's obnoxious. Storm was done. She was done dirty in those movies for sure. But Famke Janssen. My only issue with her was just they didn't really get any. I didn't get any chemistry between her and Scott.
No, I didn't see any of that either.
I liked her.
There was as much
portrayal
chemistry between her and Scott as there was Halle Berry and Scott.
Because Halle Berry was just. I'm not a big Halle Berry fan in that movie. I think she did a shit job. Her African accent in the first movie was atrocious, and then she just didn't do it for the sequel. She's like, I don't have an accent anymore. Fuck continuity.
I'm just not a Halle Berry fan. I never have been. I've never really understood the Halle Berry is this amazing actress thing.
I mean, I've not seen much of her work, so I can't really properly comment on it. But I mean, I thought Famke Janssen and Hugh Jackman had pretty solid chemistry, and I like their interactions. Like, what can you do? I can move things with my mind, kinds of things. And then she closed the door behind her, all kinds of things. Like I liked her.
I don't know.
I thought that was good, and I liked a lot of I liked a lot of the character interactions. I loved Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart together. Like, I loved those two. I thought they were great.
They were great. They are great. They're too old. They were too old when they started. It was too old.
Well, it was it's a different take on the characters, and I was fine with that. Yes, I would have liked them both to be a lot younger, but at the same time, I fucking love their interactions. And man, in X-Men 2, like when Pyro goes bad and, what's your real name, John? Do they say you're the bad guy? Is that what they say? Fucking love it. Fucking love it.
The best fucking part of that movie, the Nightcrawler shit when he's bouncing around the office, that's pretty fucking dope.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And is that iron in your blood? Like, that was pretty good.
Oh my god, that whole
I don't know.
Never trust a beautiful woman, Mr. Lorio, especially if she's interested in you. God, gross. He's so good. I fucking love him.
I kind of like the absurdity of X-Men 3 over the rest of them, because it's just so over the top bananas. It's not a good movie. Honestly, I think First Class is the best they've ever done.
First Class
I
is
thought
pretty
that
cool.
movie was legitimately very good. Michael Fassbender as Magneto, I thought was... But that's what I'm saying, you know what I mean? Like, if you watch Michael Fassbender as Magneto, and you see what he brings to that character, and then you watch Famke Janssen and Halle Berry, or fucking dude who played Cyclops or whatever, like they didn't do that to those characters.
No, they didn't.
They
but
could
they
have
weren't,
been literally anybody else, and you wouldn't have. They could have been nobodies, and it wouldn't have mattered. And that just kind of bothers me. Tobey Maguire later
fair,
as
but
Spider-Man
we're talking about
was so
making. We're talking about making an ensemble superhero
movie
movie when making superhero movies was a bad idea.
Sure,
it was a genuinely bad idea, and it's a super flawed movie. But I can appreciate it for what it is, and I really thought the Rogue storyline was interesting. That she wasn't super powered Rogue; she was just depowered Rogue, and I liked that take on the character. And I thought Anna Paquin did a good job. And
yeah, she was fine. I just, I don't know. I don't like them. I hope they do something cool.
Fair.
I want to like them.
The thing.
I do.
They're not going to do the same approach for the MCU. They're just absolutely not going to do that. And that universe became such a fucking disaster. No, because that doesn't match anything the MCU has done. The MCU has been so much more colorful since day one. Even Iron Man, which is like really not as comic booky as the rest of the movies were, because they were just starting it out. They were figuring their shit out. They're figuring out their vibe. But X-Men, like, that thing changed so much from iteration to iteration, and they kept trying to say it was all in continuity with one another, and it's like, this doesn't make a shit bit of sense.
No.
This is all bad. This is just all bad.
It's that line from fucking Deadpool when Colossus is dragging him down the street. He's McAvoy or Stewart. These fucking timelines are so confusing.
You love it. I love it. And that those movies deserve to be lampooned. But like, it's just like those Fantastic Four movies, the Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies.
So bad.
Yep, they're entertaining. They're not good movies, but I'm somewhat entertained by those.
As we continue down this path of our movie podcast here, Stone Age Gamer Movie Podcast, apparently, what do you think about the rumors that Anna Taylor-Joy is up for the role of Silver Surfer?
It seems like an unnecessary change to me.
That was kind of how I felt.
Like,
I'm not
opposed
to it. I just
I'm not opposed
think
to it
she's
either. It's just
she's better actress that could be used in a more significant role. She already was Magic. I actually like that New Mutants movie quite a bit. I think that movie gets shit on way harder than it should. But she had Lockheed for some reason instead of Kitty Pryde, which was a choice. It seems weird, right? Like, it seems weird to waste Anna Taylor-Joy on a motion-captured character.
Yeah, it just seems like you don't need to gender bend just for the sake of it. And I feel like Norrin Radd is just such a beloved character. You know, like
how absurd! He's the Silver Surfer, and his last name is Rad.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous.
Christ, what are we doing?
People love that character, and
I adore the Silver Surfer.
I feel like it's just asking for it. So like this is just like, well, what can we do to piss the fandom off? Like,
yeah,
okay, I'm all for equality, but like there are some things like why not just tell the story you're telling? You know, like Iron Man was good. It's okay to just leave. It's okay to just tell the story as it was in the comic book. It's okay to just have this character be what the character everyone likes is. Like I feel like gender bending Silver Surfer. It seems senseless to me. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
Like I said, it seems like a waste of Anna Taylor-Joy's talent.
I agree.
Because, like, she is fine as a voice actress, but, like, she was just Princess Peach. Like, you're just going to have Princess Peach. Like, if you want to, you're casting a voice. So, for that character, cast a fucking voice actress. It could be a girl. I don't care about that part. It just seems like a weird. Anna Taylor-Joy seems like a name for the sake of a name.
Just get Lawrence Fishburne back. He did great in Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Sure, he's not doing anything. Although maybe he is. Isn't he fucking?
He's technically Giant Man.
He's Bill Foster. Yeah. He can come back. We'll see that. I don't know. As an aside, for anybody who's still listening to the movie podcast, waiting for us to get back in video games, Silver Surfer by Dan Slott and Mike Allred is one of the finest comic books you will ever read. It is better than Doctor Who at being Doctor Who in this like really weird way. It's so incredibly good. It's so great. Please read it. It's brilliant.
Well, get things back on track.
Anyway, sorry. That was just a thing. So the dog's quiet place.
I want to say out loud that I have not forgotten about the Super Nintendo versus Game Boy Advance conversation. It will be on the schedule soon, just letting everyone know.
That's right.
That's the thing we're going to do. That's a conversation we're going to have. So did you actually play anything? You just watched Miss Marvel and had a bunch of dogs all over your house?
Watched the Marvels, played through some more Uncharted.
Right.
Puzzle and Dragons just had its fucking 12th anniversary in Japan, which is just an absurd. That is just an absolutely absurd thing. That I am still playing that game every day, still logging on in a Japanese account and a North American account. It continues to baffle me. I don't play it nearly to the level that I used to. But like I will go in spurts now of like, oh, I want to clear a bunch of stuff. I just got some new cards or whatever. And same thing with Marvel Snap. I've had like a really difficult time because I just haven't had time to sit down and devote to it. But I did get some of the new cards. I've complained about the new system plenty over these past couple of months, but for the last 2 weeks I had one spotlight key and I used it each time and got the brand new card each time. So like the luck does swing one way or another. It's just still ultimately, in my opinion, I think it just still feels like a bad system overall. I did spend a little bit of time trying to get the MSX emulated on my computer, which is not nearly as simple as emulating everything else. So I got to spend some more time with that because I tried to play through Karate Kid, since that is the game we have coming up. And, man, it just really needs a jump button. The NES just really needed a third button, and it would have been fine. That game would be... Oh, we'll fucking talk about it later. It would be so much better with a jump button. Anyway, I didn't beat it. I didn't beat it. I got to fucking work at it now.
Which one again? I missed...
Karate Kid.
Karate Kid. Oh.
Yeah, because we're playing it for the fucking Super Series. And I was like, all right, let me get on this early, see like how hard this is, because it's not as hard as everybody makes it out to be.
I can't believe.
I know.
I can't believe you're playing it already. That's why I kind of like.
Well, I just wanted to jump
like,
into it.
Wait,
you know,
he didn't. This is okay. All right. I'm gonna play it the day we record.
No, I know. But I wanted to play through and make sure, because I didn't finish Jersey Devil, and I like to finish these games when we talk about them. I like to at least try to finish these, but I know like Karate Kid has some fucking jank to it, and the jank got me, so I gotta get good at it again. So, but while I was doing that, I was like, I would like to play the MSX Metal Gears. I'm not going to run out and buy the collection right now, though. Let me see if I can emulate it. Not as easy to emulate as everything else. So,
right, MSX is
there's some issues
things
there.
You don't really see around all that often.
There's plenty of emulators out there, but you need like BIOS files, and there's just different. I just didn't take the time to figure it out. It's not complicated. It was just more than the front end that I use on my computer is Launchbox, and when you add your legally obtained ROM files to Launchbox, it automatically it'll be like, oh, if you use RetroArch as your emulator software here, it'll automatically set everything up for you. So like when I put my legally obtained NES ROMs on here, I just clicked a button, RetroArch popped up, I clicked another button, and everything was good. It was ready to play. I have my Retro Fighters PlayStation controller, the Defender, which is really fucking excellent controller. I really do honestly love this controller. It's very, very comfortable. It feels very similar. You've played with one, right? The Retro Fighters Defender. Does it? Am I crazy in saying that it feels like a maybe a Wii U Pro controller? Like it's kind of got that kind of shape to me, or
its shape. Yeah, I remember
it doesn't have like
the D-pad on that one, but on the Defender,
it's not bad. I don't mind it, honestly. Like for what I've used it for, I think it's a really, really solid controller that you can find now on the StoneAgeGamer.com. Please buy our stuff. But like, yeah, I click a button and it puts it in there, and as soon as I turn on my controller, it's ready to go, which is awesome. And it's done that with TurboGrafx and Genesis and DS and N64, which you still got to go and finagle a little bit just because of the wonkiness of that controller. Atari, all of those different things, it kind of has everything just set right up. With the MSX, it was like, oh, hey, we need some other shit. You got to go find this other shit. And I was like, oh, I don't have time to go find that other shit right now. I'll find it later. So,
yeah, that is my understanding. It's not I know very little about emulating MSX, but I remember attempting to look into it a long time ago and being like, well, this isn't simple as push button play game. I'm out.
Right.
Because that's as far as my brain goes.
There's so much on the MSX and the MSX2, like that you and I in particular, but like a lot of us here have just never played.
Yeah, there's stuff on there I really like to mess with.
I
would love to try and see how far I could get in the Haunted Castle. I would love to try Treasure of Luchas. Like, I love that game's soundtrack. I'd love to play the game that goes with it. But alas, here we are.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of stuff that I'd like to check out.
It's not an option yet. Maybe it will be. Konami's doing all kinds of shit.
They really are.
I mean, the new stuff I have concerns about, but the old stuff that they're just re-releasing, well, let's keep doing that, guys. Keep it up.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at?
Well, let's see. I'm still playing Metal Gear Solid. I'm at I fucked up the torture thing last night. I forgot. I forgot how to do it. Like I was, all right, I've been tortured twice now. What do I do? And then I I gave up because I didn't feel like mashing the button again. And then I was like, wait a second. There's a consequence for giving up, isn't there? And then I looked it up. It's like, oh, Meryl dies in the end if you give up during the torture. Well, fuck that. So I just went back to a previous save file and started it over again. But that's where I'm at with the torture. So I'm what, a little more than 3/4 of the way through the game, I think. I'm coming up on the end. I finished Advance Wars.
Nice.
The last battle, I figured it out. I think I got like a D rank or something like that.
But did you finish it?
I did. It took me hours.
That's all that matters.
It took me hours. But like there came a certain point where it's like, I think I'm going to win this. And then there came a point where it's like, I think I've made it back into a stalemate again, son of a bitch. And then I kept playing for a little bit longer. I was like, no, I think I'm going to make this. I think I'm going to get through. I think I'm actually going to be able to defeat all of his stuff. And then it took me, I really can't remember. It must have been at least 2 to 3 hours to get through that last fight against Sturm on fucking casual, easy ass mode. Cause I am just not good at this game, but I did it. I have not even thought about touching Advance Wars 2 yet. It's on my list. I'll get to it just like I got back to the first game, but I need a break. I need a break.
I love that you got through it though. Like that makes me so happy. And the fact that you enjoyed it, like that
great.
Just brings me joy.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm super happy about it. I got the Katamari soundtrack on vinyl. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I did play the Contra demo.
Right. We'll talk about that in Week Old News.
Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. I forgot about that. Sorry.
I got the Katamari soundtrack on vinyl as a gift. And I fucking love it. It's wonderful, and I'm super thankful that I was able to get my hands on that. And that's kind of it. That's really all I've been doing. Just trying to work on Metal Gear. I spent a decent amount of time on stuff that we're going to talk about in Week Old News, but outside of that, it's just been, still playing clubhouse games with Karen most nights and just getting fucking wrecked because I'm a moron. Like the luck games, it's a good time. Like the Yahtzee or Yacht Dice, sorry, and stuff like War. Like, sure, I can do that, but like any of the logic stuff, I'm just so fucking stupid, and I don't understand. I can't figure out why I'm losing because she's not trying. She's not planning ahead. She's just like pushing buttons. Like, okay, I'll go here. Okay, she's not thinking anything about it. But like, we'll play Othello. And
that's why you're losing
brutally in Othello every time. Last time we played, I got 3 out of the 4 corners, and she still fucking wrecked me. Like, mathematically, how does this happen?
That's impressive.
That's not possible. How is this happening? But we're still having a good time with that. And we are, I think a day or two after we recorded this episode, we'll be about a month away from Hatch Tales.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, because not a fucking word. Since they did the release date, not a fucking word. And I even joined their Discord today because I was poking around the Kickstarter. I was like, wait, isn't Hatch Tales pretty soon? And then I went over there. I was like, yeah, there's been a handful of other people like asking, can we get like a screenshot? Can we get something? Anything?
Nope.
The release date's coming. And because I was reminded of it because Jules posted something on Twitter, and I was like, well, this is not Hatch Tales related. That's got to be coming soon. And then I saw somebody, a couple of folks in the on the Kickstarter page saying that they got information out of the Discord. I'm like, okay, I'll join the Atui Discord and see what's happening. And it's just as full of people being like, you gonna say something about this game at some point? Like, you gonna do something? Like, there's obviously channels that are just like, yay, Jules is the best, and isn't this grand? But there's a pretty decent section of people in there being like, yo, what the fuck? Like,
stop being a dick, you dick.
And like one of the people who works at Atui, like who does a bunch of stuff on the Discord, chimed in and said, like, they don't see a big difference in sales between whether they over promote something or they don't promote it at all. I'm like, okay, but like,
I suppose that makes sense though. Like, you're such a niche developer.
For the Kickstarter folks, huh?
Yeah.
How about a little something for us?
Hook us up with a little something.
A couple screenshots to let us know that this big blowout you did in fucking September is not a word since September. We're in fucking February now. He hasn't said thing one about Hatch Tales since September. Fucking dick. I unfortunately haven't played any more of Mr. Run and Jump on VCS. I've been really busy. I've been struggling with the script for the next Mario video. It has been challenging because I'm trying to piece together like how to tell this story of Mario Land leading up to Mario 3 now, right? And Mario Land and Mario 3 were both, as far as I can tell, I haven't read every word in every issue of Nintendo Power, but I've gone through all the issues that were coming out around that time. And as far as I can tell, issue 6 was the first time both those games were mentioned and in the same issue, but they were mentioned with like nothing at all. It was in the second to last page of issue 6, way on the bottom, underneath, like on this like new tech page, right? They had like the U-Force, and then underneath it, on the bottom, there's a little tiny blurb about Game Boy, and in the blurb there was a list of games, and Super Mario Land was written in there. Like no information about what that is, just Super Mario Land for Game Boy. You don't really know what any of this stuff is. And then on the next page, it says coming soon, Super Mario Brothers 3. That you can fly with a raccoon tail in this game. Like what? What?
Huh?
Now I know Super Mario Brothers 3 doesn't actually come out in North America until 1989. But what I'm trying to piece together right now is like I have to tell the story of how those were both announced super casually in this issue of Nintendo Power.
Right.
And then Mario 3's like promotion leading up to its launch was pretty exciting with they had all this extra time because it was already out in Japan, but there was the chip shortage happening in North America, so they had this extra time to kind of like build up the game, and that's when the Wizard happened. That's when the Super Mario Brothers Super Show happened. Like there's a lot of stuff going on in 1988 that's not Nintendo releasing games. But they also had Game Boy, right? Because there's this whole dearth of first party. 1988's got almost nothing first party for NES, right? Like Super Mario Brothers 2 and Zelda 2 are out, but they're not on store shelves because of the chip shortage. And in Japan, Nintendo they went whole hog on the Famicom Disk System before people started adding chips to cartridge games, which basically made that entire peripheral useless. So they had all this time where they weren't developing any cartridge games, and any other cartridge games that they would want to bring over, we're talking like going back to early FDS games, which is like, well, by this point, games in North America those games would look ancient if you brought them out now. Like, as much as like Mysterious Murasami Castle is like awesome, you bring that out in 1988 and it's going to look really dated compared to the Castlevanias and Rygars and Mega Mans at the time, you know?
And that was just so incredibly important at that time of that.
Right.
This had to look newer, better, bigger, faster, whatever, as you were trying
even
to
their own Super
grow
Mario Brothers
the
2.
Industry. Yeah.
Yeah, like even their own Super Mario Brothers 2, their reskin Doki Doki Panic, that game looks amazing. So you're bringing out anything
incredible.
old. The only real thing that Nintendo brings out in 88 is Tetris. But the good news is one, they had third parties to fall back on. Third parties were doing incredible stuff in 1988.
Right.
And they also had the launch of the Game Boy. So like, for that didn't eat into NES stuff. That was just, here's our own thing, and we're going to release the Game Boy. So you've got the trouble that I'm trying to run into is that issue of Nintendo Power that announced both of those things is listed as the, I want to say June, July issue, I think is what it is.
Okay.
And the Game Boy came out in I'm pretty sure the Game Boy came out in July. Is that what I'm looking at? It was, Game Boy released in North America July 31st, 1989. So was it June, July, or July, August issue? Either one. This first mention of it in Nintendo Power lines up with just when the system came out, but that's not really how that works, because the issues showed up in the mail before the months that were on them, if I remember correctly, but I can't find anything that says online when did this issue actually mail to people, because I'm trying to figure out what the buildup was to Super Mario Land, which there doesn't really seem to be much, because they don't actually do a proper a proper blowout on Super Mario Land for another 2 issues, and this is when the issues the magazine's coming out bi-monthly. They do a Game Boy section in that issue, the next issue, and the next issue. And those first 2 issues with Game Boy are all about Tetris. Some about the hardware, and then everything's just Tetris, Tetris, Tetris. There's other games too. Here's pictures of them, but no real info on what they are. So,
but we know you're really here for Tetris.
Or whether or not you're here for Tetris, this is what we want you to be here for. And it was a brilliant strategy because it became a fucking global phenomenon. But I remember every kid who wanted a Game Boy wanted Super Mario Land. Like, that was the game to get because, most of the Game Boys came. Yeah, tennis, alleyway, like everyone had those games, but like the ones that people wanted was Super Mario Land.
Yeah, so that's fair.
It's a challenge. I'm having challenges keeping track of like how do I weave that into an interesting narrative of because this is as Super Mario Land is happening, this is also at the same time Super Mario Bros. 3 hype happens in North America, and the game's already out in Japan. But nobody in the States knows about that because the internet's not a thing. And nobody's importing stuff at this point, right? By and large, the public found out about Mario 3 in The Wizard. That's where a lot of the public found out that game even existed. And that's when they've got their first glimpse of it in motion. Even Nintendo Power didn't do a ton of Mario 3 coverage before The Wizard. So it's very interesting. And I'm struggling to keep track of how to make that script work because the way the game releases are timing out, the first game that I had to talk about in this episode was the fucking Nelsonic Game Watch, which is the most exciting thing to start with. But like it's a strange chunk, right? Because I mentioned the Super Mario Brothers have become the pack-in games, right? Because I can't not mention Mario Duck Hunt because that's just such a ubiquitous thing. Yeah. And then you go into the Super Mario Brothers Game Watch. And then in July '89, you have Super Mario Land. Then I'm going to go back and mention the Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach because I didn't mention that earlier because I'm doing this from the perspective of a North American audience, right? But I can't talk about the Super Mario Brothers Super Show without talking about back in 1986, there was an animated Super Mario Brothers movie, right? But I didn't mention that in my older one because I wasn't focusing on the Japan aspect of it. So I'm going to mention the Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach in preparation for talking about the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, which was in September of 1989, and The Wizard was December 1989, and then Mario Brothers 3 happens in February 1990. And I kind of wanted to end on the Mario 3 Game Watch, probably not do much on it, because like I don't want to start the next episode with another fucking Game Watch, right? But it's also hard not to...
because you've just done that.
I've did that once, and I really don't want to do it again. Yeah, because it's just not the most exciting thing to kick things off with, especially because really after this, where's my fucking list of? I already broke down the episodes. Like, part 4 kicks off with the comic books from Valiant, and then right into Mario World.
Oh wow, those comic books were so wild too.
They were fucking weird, right? And then
they really fucking were.
That's gonna be part 4 is gonna be such a weird episode because it's comics in 1990 into Super Mario World, and then the Super Mario World Game Watch, the Nintendo Power comics, Super Mario Brothers pinball machines. Right, in 1992 had 2 different Super Mario Brothers pinball machines, which I believe was the first time Charles Martinet voiced the character. And then end that with Super Mario Land 2. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I feel like the 1992 pinball game was the first time Charles Martinet voiced the character. It could have been like Mario teaches typing or something. I might be crazy. But
what a fucking wild way to start your career as Mario, man. Like fucking
how did that stick around?
Yeah.
Bananas. And then after that we do this. Part 5 is going to be fucking weird because part 5 is like, here's a bunch of tertiary stuff that happened, like Hotel Mario, that is technically related to what we're talking about, right? I'm not covering every Mario game in existence, but everything that has anything to do with Mario Brothers, like that core concept. So it's like Mario All-Stars. But then I have to mention stuff like, I have to at least mention that Wario Land exists, right? Because we've covered Mario Land and Mario Land 2. Wario Land is technically Mario Land 3, even though it's the start of its own thing. Donkey Kong 94 doesn't fit in with this thing. It's part of the Donkey Kong franchise, but I have to mention it because Donkey Kong is where it started, you know? Mario's Tennis for Virtual Boy is the first Mario sports game, so I have to mention that. Yoshi's Island is Mario World 2, even though it's the start of the Yoshi franchise, so I have to mention that. Like, Part 5 is going to be so fucking weird. I don't want to start, so starting with the Mario 3 Game Watch in Part 4 seems wrong, but ending on the Mario 3 Game Watch seems anticlimactic to follow up Super Mario Bros. 3. So I have to find some way to weave that in with the Mario 3 conversation and then come back to, I guess, after I break down the Game Watch, kind of come back to how big Mario 3 was to kind of close out the episode. And because I don't think I'm going to talk about the individual cartoons that kind of built off of the Super Show. I think I'm going to stop with cartoons after talking about Super Show, because like the point of this is supposed to be the games.
Right, not the cartoons, as much as you want to talk about the Wizard.
Well, the Wizard. I have to talk about the Wizard because that's such a huge part of the story of Super Mario Brothers 3 in North America. You know,
I'm just saying you're not going to
that.
You can't talk about it for as much as you would want to.
Right. No, I'm not going to break down the whole movie, or just going to be talking about the end of it. So, like, a lot of this stuff I'm just going to mention, but really then kind of keep the focus on things. But I don't think I don't think Part 4 is going to be hard to write. I think just this Part 3 is going to be the last one that's hard to write, because I think after this, things in America and Japan kind of line up with each other and get considerably more boring. Like, I'm looking at Part 7, which is just a fucking dearth of Mario games. It's the 4 Mario Advance games and Sunshine. Like, wow. Yeah, the Game Boy Advance era was both great and not so great for Mario.
It was both amazing and kind of meh.
Then I get to do Part 8, Super Mario 64 DS, New Super Mario Brothers, both Galaxy games, and New Super Mario Wii. Part 9, I get to move on to Mario 3D Land through 3D World with 2 different new Super Mario Bros. Games in between. 10 is Mario Maker, Run, and Odyssey, and then 11 is everything up to Wonder, which is really quite a stack of games there. Mario Deluxe, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Mario Maker 2, 3D All Stars, Mario 35, which I'm still pissed doesn't exist, Bowser's Fury, and then Wonder. So at least it's going to end strong. A couple episodes there are going to be weird, but also easier to make, so that makes me happy.
Which is not nothing.
It's not nothing. I'm talking so much about how much I'm thinking about how to weave this script into something that makes sense and is interesting. And like after this episode, I think things just get a lot easier for me to write.
Yeah,
it's weird because I don't remember that era that well. You know, like I remember how I found about Mario 3. You know, as somebody who didn't have Nintendo Power, you know, I found out about Mario 3 from the Wizard.
Yeah.
And I'll never fucking forget that scene in the theater and how that made me feel, seeing that screen open up with Super Mario Brothers 3. Like, there's a Mario 3? What the fuck?
Oh my God.
Mind blowing.
I already loved this movie, but now it's just the best movie ever.
It's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in the history of mankind. But that's December, and I remember seeing that movie, and then like a month later, my cousin had gotten the game like the day it came out. So in February of 1990, I'm at my cousin's house, and he has Super Mario Brothers 3, and I'm like, I'm playing it in his basement, like just mind fucking blown.
That was my friend Armand.
Really fascinating.
Every time I went to Armand's house, he had it was like his parents just went to fucking Toys R Us every week and were like, whatever's new, give it. Like, because it was just, man, there's so much I love about the modern world that we live in. Like I say it all the time, right? Like fucking more grid. You want to put a chip in me? Please. You mean I don't have to carry a wallet anymore? I can just bloop, thumb, done. Fucking sign me up. But the unexpected elation of going to a store and finding out that there was a thing you didn't even know existed, and then knowing that your life would be incomplete without it now, and getting that thing was just so fucking incredible. Like that level of joy is just not something we experience any longer. Going to the store and being like, there's a Ninja Gaiden 3? Fuck your mother. What are you talking about? I have to have Castlevania 2? Surely this is going to be better than Castlevania 1. It's not going to be weird at all. This is going to be amazing. You know, like, and so much that we deprive ourselves of it. Can you imagine if I think I've said this on the show before, but can you imagine if you're watching Captain America's Civil War and just out of nowhere it pops up Queens? Like, you didn't know Spider-Man was going to be making his MCU debut. All the trailers hadn't ruined it. You're just in the theater. You're shoveling popcorn down your big old face, loving every second of the movie. And then it just pops up on the screen, Queens. And if you know, there's no reason for them to be there otherwise. Like that kind of organic thing. Like, we just don't experience that anymore as people. And that sucks. It sucks. We should go back to it.
Yeah, there's a lot.
We should shut off the internet.
Ruined everything. The internet ruined so much.
It really did. Shut it off. Turn it off, Chris. We're going to have to do this podcast in person on a fucking reel-to-reel. We'll mail out cassette tapes to people. It'll be great. That's how we'll grow this podcast.
On this week's episode a couple nights ago, and I was just like, fuck it, we're just going to do this on the radio.
Dude, I would love to fucking do a radio show. Maybe we'll try and do that over the summer or something like that. We'll do that'll be our summer series this year. We'll hop on like a pirate radio channel from like 7 to 8 at night or something like that. And we'll just do it for like a fucking week or whatever. We'll just jump on and bullshit for an hour. And then like we'll play a couple songs. We'll do it like a real radio station. It'll be great.
This sounds amazing.
Yeah, I'm in. Sold.
Please flip the cassette over to side B to continue the adventure.
We now return you to our regularly scheduled program.
All right, we've got a lot more to talk about, so let's jump into week-old news. First things first.
Can I start with one?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know if this is on your list or not because I didn't look at the script. I think this is just an amazing thing, and we don't have to have a deep discussion about it. There is a Hideo Kojima documentary on Disney Plus. It is 60 minutes long. Okay, it's 60 minutes long. The ending movie to Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots was 71 minutes. This documentary on Hideo Kojima is 11 minutes shorter than the final cutscene of one of his video games. I find that to be amazing. Moving on. But we don't have to say anything else.
What else is there to say? What else is there to say?
Dude, that is just chef's kiss.
Guy's so far up his own ass. He just lives
I fucking love him. I love him so much.
He's got a couch in his colon and he sits on it.
Oh my god, 10 out of 10. No notes. None. No notes.
All right, so you sent this to me.
I did. Wait, is this the dickhead video?
This is the Smash JT video. I'm not a fan of Smash JT. I mean, I don't know the guy at all, but he really rubs me the wrong way. I've seen several of his videos in relation to researching the Intellivision Amico. He was a personality that was involved in both sides of the Amico discussion. I find him to be very difficult to swallow.
I did not know him until this tweet crossed my timeline thanks to Mr. Brett Weiss. because I follow Brett on Twitter, and Brett had tweeted some sort of response to something involving Pat the NES Punk and this Smash JT or JT Smash, whatever the fuck his name is.
Smash JT.
Smash JT. Brett had tweeted something, and I saw the video, and it said, Pat, buy my scam. And
Yes,
I was like...
what is this nonsense? The official name of this video is Pat the NES Punk's N64 book scam exposed.
Right. And I was like, fuck, man. Because I never click on this kind of shit. I never do, because I don't fucking care. I don't. But Brett retweeted it, and I like Brett. We've had him on the show a bunch of times. I think he's a nice guy. I don't have a dog in the fight one way or another, though, because I've never seen any of this guy's videos until I watched this video. I did watch it all the way through. And
I
no,
did too.
those
it had
of you
to be done in 2 sittings.
Yeah, two
there's only
sittings
so much
for
I can
sure.
stomach.
You don't have to watch past the first 4 minutes. He gets fuck that. The first 2 minutes, he just then
keeps
says
reiterating
the
the same point over and over again for 20 goddamn minutes.
But I had never seen anything, and I could count on one hand with mittens. It wouldn't slow me down the number of Pat the NES Punk videos that I've watched. I am not at all disparaging either of their content. I simply was unfamiliar with it up to this point. I know who Pat is. I know who Brett is. But I saw this video, this tagline, right? I should have fucking known better. But I just,
Were
in a
you
moment of
baited
weakness,
to click on it?
perhaps it was more of the estrogen, Chris. In a moment of weakness, I fucking clicked on it because it said the word scam. And the stuff with the Carl Jobst video and the completionist or whatever, like, that is a legitimate fucking scam that just happened. I was like, oh, fuck, man. Like, I don't know Pat the NES Punk, but, like, we've seen him in person a couple of times. He doesn't seem like that bad of a dude. He just seems like a guy who ruffles some feathers.
Yeah.
That's okay. I'm sure
He's not my kind of guy, but I'm not a fan of him. But I've been informed by his stuff before, and
yeah, sure.
I would watch his videos to learn about what's going on in the Amico universe. He's not my kind of guy, but I don't wish him any ill will.
Yeah, no, and like it's weird for us as like a much smaller scale show than these guys, but a show that I think is of the same quality, if not better. 500 episodes and whatever. I like I said, there's no dog in the fight here. Like, I didn't feel anything. I just saw that word scam, and I was like, fuck, man, that would really be shitty. What could this be?
Yeah,
and then I watched this video.
The hyperbole of the name was like, shit, because that's the thing. I would never, no matter what I think of Pat personally, it doesn't strike me as the kind of person who's out to like scam folks. Definitely not. He's had some very choice words about Brett not paying writers with his books, but none of us went into that
thinking we were going to get paid.
He was 100% upfront that there was no pay involved. You want to help me write this book? I can't pay you. Okay. No matter what I think of that in retrospect, there was nothing hidden. There was nothing nefarious about it.
No, not at all. I do think that Brett should all give us a copy of the digital book. And I would say that to Brett. I would have no problem saying that to Brett. I've voiced that on here before. I'm not expecting to get paid, but I think it would be a pretty cool as a thank you. Like, hey, by the way, here's a PDF copy so you can see it in print, show your family. Right? I understand that there's maybe some idea behind that, and I don't want to put words in Brett's mouth, or ideas in his head, or whatever the correct phrasing there would be. But I would imagine that there's some sort of motivation behind that of, well, I don't want to eliminate a potential sale by giving this away. Right? That would be my thought as to why you wouldn't do that. But no, there was never, we were never under any misinformation, illusion, anything like that. Brett was very, very upfront that he does not pay his writers. And I know Pat has said multiple things about that. What really got me about this video, Chris, is because it was very obvious after the first couple minutes that this was absolutely nothing. This guy's main issue with Pat's book that he's putting out, the Ultimate N64 whatever, I don't care enough to give the actual title. Not being offensive, I just don't care enough. Because that's not what bothered me about it. What his issue seems to be is that Pat and the people that are working for Pat on this book used emulators to play these N64 games. And that somehow invalidated Pat's opinion or discussion about it.
Everything. The whole book is a scam.
The whole book is a scam because he played on emulators. And where I took issue with that is that this is a guy who has a bigger YouTube audience than we do, has a bigger fucking website presence than than we do, who is a fucking jabron from all I could tell. I didn't watch through a lot of his videos because I don't want to give him any more clicks, but he seems like a fucking dick. Maybe he's not. Maybe he's a great guy. But the presence he gives off online is that of a fucking dick. And I am very, as much as it may seem like we are cavalier and we just kind of do this show and whatever, you don't actually get to 500 episodes of a podcast without being dedicated to what you do, proud of what you do, and working on your craft. And I think we have a very, very good show. And I'm not entirely sure why this one particular person thinks that he is the gatekeeper that gets to invalidate the work that we have done on this show. Because according to this guy, Chris, we need to go back and either edit or remove our discussion of Jersey Devil. Because it's inauthentic. Because we played on an emulator. And I found that as a whatever small part of quote-unquote content creator space that we occupy, I found that incredibly offensive.
His assertion that there was something specific about, like, you need to have the cartridge and the system on the CRT with the original controller. Like, N64 playing with the original controller, that is an integral part of the experience, right? If you're going to be talking about these games playing with the original insane controller, that's what it was built for. Okay, I can understand wanting that, but according to this video, Pat said he was playing with an original N64 controller. Now, what Smash sorry, I have a hard time referring to someone as Smash. What he said in the video was that he's not sure what he means by emulation. He could actually mean, and he says this in the video, he doesn't know if he's using an EverDrive, or if he's playing it on a computer with some sort of USB hookup. He could very well just be using an EverDrive 64 on original hardware, and passing that around to anybody who needs it to do their write-ups. And if that's the case,
not authentic?
That is authentic enough. But you know what? Even if it's not, even if he's not, Pat has been around long enough to have played a Nintendo 64. He knows at least enough that what playing an N64 game on original hardware is like. Emulation for N64 is finicky. It's all over the fucking map. But
sure.
I'm pretty sure no matter what you do, if you're playing on a decent emulator for N64, you're going to be able to effectively get the idea of what this is. Enough to convey in a book what the game is. The information that needs to come across. Is the frame rate shitty in this emulator? Then it's probably to some degree shitty in the actual game too.
100% it is.
The same shittiness? No, maybe not. Or maybe it will be. Maybe it's better on the emulator. Maybe it's worse. Who knows? Because it's the N64. There's a lot of frame rate problems all over that platform. To suggest that playing these N64 games on an emulator not only invalidates everything in the book, but makes it a scam? Like he's out there twirling his mustache, trying to pull the wool over the eyes of the good people who are trying to buy his products, these innocent people he's taking advantage of. Like, this was such a nothing burger that he is creating this
it was nothing.
Deep drama about, like, how dare he? He's out to get you. And it seems, just when you listen to all the words that he's saying, that this is coming from a place of, Pat said something bad about me in a video once, and I'm going to get him back for that.
I'm going to hurt his feelings. And
I can't imagine Pat gives two shits or a flying fuck what this guy has to say about him.
Probably not. Probably not. And like I said, what really struck me as odd, and like why I wanted to pass this along, because you know me, in the years we've been doing this show, this would be the very first time I have ever brought something like this up for discussion. I have never, ever been like, here's the latest clickbaited controversy, let's fucking talk about it. That is not a thing. That is not a space I like to occupy. I just don't. But after watching it, the fucking calling us out, whether intentionally or not, like, he called out us and any other podcast, YouTube creator, anybody who has ever played a game on emulation as their way of playing it, and like as being inauthentic. I gotta tell you guys, I don't know this for a fact, but I do know it to be true. There's a bunch of people in Brett's books who fucking played their shit on emulation for the very first time. And they didn't say anything about it, and neither did you. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. 100%. And there are some of us, I'll raise my hand, who wrote for that book, that when they went to write about said game, guess what? We went back and played it. And do you know where I played the games that I wrote about, Chris? Not on original hardware.
How very dare you?
And I didn't fucking say anything. So, like, to call in the work that we have done over the years of this show, and all other content creators that have done any amount of work and they've played games through emulation, fuck you. You don't get to say that my shit doesn't count. You don't have that right. The other part that really...
gatekeeping bullshit right there.
It is some gatekeeping, but like, you are not the arbiter of what is acceptable to gamers. It's the first point. The second point, though, and the thing that I probably found the most troubling about this video, and what speaks to your point more specifically, Chris, of this is just like, I'm gonna get that evil Pat, the NES punk, he hurt me. He spent this entire time railing against Pat without providing a link to an alternative. Without saying at the end of the video, in the description below, here are links to where you can find authentic writing about this particular topic, because it's something I care so deeply about. I want to share the content creators that I know for a fact don't do this. And I think there might be two reasons for that. One, because he doesn't actually care. Two, because those people don't actually exist.
the amount of times he said he doesn't care about games preservation. He doesn't care about this. It reminds me of another video that I watched some of. I was, Limited Run posted something, and I see anytime Limited Run posts something, somebody on Twitter says, like, don't ever buy from Limited Run. They're an evil company. They're the fucking worst. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure you're just angry that you didn't get the game you ordered in a timely manner. And I get being pissed about that.
Which is a legitimate complaint. That's not something to not be upset about.
Yeah, I don't know that it makes a company evil. Like, just because they weren't able to ship something as early as you want, that I get it, but it doesn't mean that this happened to them too. What do they have to gain by not shipping out something as early as you wanted it to? Like, not everything is nefarious. Sometimes things just happen in production of games and stuff. Whatever. And I know there was some sort of thing where someone was fired for saying some nonsense on Twitter, and there's a lot of people who think that kind of woke nonsense should not stand. And
sure. How dare you stand up for basic human decency and rights?
Sure. I don't know the whole situation, but there's somebody's like, until they rehire this person that was fired for saying something on Twitter, when other people get to say things and they got to keep their just whatever. Somebody posted, a couple people posted this specific video about why Limited Run is a terrible company and the worst, actually, as here is your definitive proof. This right here is the proof that this company is terrible. And since a couple people had posted it, I was like, okay, I'll bite. What's this about?
Let me check it out. Yeah.
Let me check it out. And maybe like 10, 15 minutes into this like hour-long video about how
that's too
they're
long.
The fucking worst. They had shown me absolutely nothing that seemed even vaguely nefarious. Like, there was an awful lot of things that are like, if I say this like this in this tone, it sure sounds like they were up to something. But
were they killing puppies? Maybe. Where's the proof that they weren't?
It was really, really annoying the shit out of me. Like, as I'm listening to this, like, all right, well, where are you going to get to the point where they did something that was legitimately wrong, and it wasn't just, here's something they did that I didn't like.
Right.
You know, like somebody who worked for them. One of the things, I'm trying to remember the details because it was so fucking absurd. One of the details was like, there was a game that they released that was written on the back of the pre-release version that it was going to be like Limited Run number 0000, because like the original Limited Run stuff was all numbered, right? Like, here's game number 1, here's game number 2, and this one was going to be game 0000, and like, so they held it back so that this was the game 0000, and you could only get it at this certain thing for this certain period of time, and no one else would ever be able to get it. Like, but the final game didn't release with that number on the back of it, which says to me that it was never supposed to be game 0000. You were admittedly showing pre-release images of the box art. It was probably a placeholder image from a fucking template, but whatever, let's just assume that it was some sort of nefarious scam to get people to buy their products. Like, the whole video is just this nonsense, this complete nonsense, mountains made out of nothing burgers. And, well, I can't say whole video because I fucking stopped. I gave up like 15 minutes in. I was like, this is just going to keep going like this, isn't it? Like, this is just going to continuously be this thing of, here's why I think they're evil, because it's possible that some of these things might actually be to make profit instead of... The point kept coming back to, like, they talk about, like, they care about game preservation, but if they cared about game preservation, they wouldn't do X, Y, Z. Like, you know...
They would just give me what I want for free.
Yeah, people can be multiple things. Like, Limited Run's a business, and they don't do everything right. They don't. Sometimes they make mistakes, I know, that's fucking crazy to think of. That sometimes the people who run a business might have good intentions, but they might not make the right decisions.
Yeah. Weird how that might happen.
Whereas, like, he brings up other companies like Strictly Limited. Like, now, that's a company that I have legit complaints with, because I think Strictly Limited is fucking gross, because they have routinely released game compilations with a bunch of shit missing. It's like, here is the compilation of these games. These are the ones that are on it. And it costs X amount of dollars, which is way more than it should cost. And then 6 months later, here's the ultimate collection that has all the other stuff that you didn't get in the last collection, and it's only available in this collection. Which we knew we were making.
Predatory and shitty.
This was the plan all along, to make this, but we didn't announce it beforehand, so we can sell you 2 collections instead of 1. They're fucking scuzzy. Like, absolutely scuzzy. So,
yeah.
Using them as a point of comparison for, like, the company that Jeremy Parrish works for, and the Video Game History Foundation is like, no. You're not going to convince me that these people don't care about game preservation because you didn't get your game as fast as you think you should have.
That was another thing that was brought up in the video, where JT commented that Pat had said something along the way of, because he was like, if he really fucking cared about this shit, he would fucking mail a cartridge or get a thing from somebody and get the authentic thing to fucking have the experience. And Pat had responded with, that's absurd. And as someone
like no one
who
cares,
has,
or like something, it's like, you're right.
Someone who has personally been involved in the transportation of a game to a writer so that they could indeed have the physical copy of it for a game, Chris, that you have lent Jeremy Parrish, that nobody gives a fuck if he played it on the original cartridge. What was it? What the fuck was the game?
Fun with numbers.
Fun with numbers. Fun with the... Like, are we making the argument that in order to write a review about Fun with Numbers, Jeremy had to have you drive it from South Jersey? Well, me, I fucking drove it from South Jersey to fucking Long Island to fucking have it physically. Pat is correct. I will tell you, as somebody who's been involved in that transaction, it's patently absurd. It's absurd. Man, and I got to tell you, I was so... well, that wasn't to write a review. That wasn't to write a review about the game. Just to be in the book.
That was just because the book went... for the book, it wasn't Jeremy's book. It was Kevin Bunch's book. God, now I need to make sure I'm saying the right word. God, I'm so terrible with names.
Making it even more absurd, Chris, we drove a game from South Jersey to Long Island to give to somebody who was going to give it to somebody else.
Kevin Bunch's Atari archive.
Picture of.
Well, because like they just need a picture of what the cartridge and box looked like, and I happen to have one, and it was easier to work with me than to try to pay the insane amount of money that it would cost to get a copy off eBay.
When you were just going to let him do it. But you could have also just taken a picture. That would have been just as good.
Right, but then it's in this, and this is my level of insanity.
But then it's inauthentic.
If it's not inauthentic, it wouldn't match the other pictures in the book, right? Well, all the pictures were taken of the cartridges in the exact same way. So in order to have it match, it all had to be taken in the same place, in the same camera and all that. I would not have had it any other way. No way. It would have driven me nuts.
I bet you could have replicated it to where nobody would fucking know. Nobody would have known. It doesn't matter.
Know.
You fucking psychopath. It doesn't fucking matter. I was so pleased with the response on our Discord, because I was nervous, honestly, and I should know our listeners better. I should. But I was nervous posting it because I watched that video and I was like, this fucking jamoke is outside of his fucking mind. All of everything he's saying is fucking crazy. It is
absolutely
just
nuts.
Absurd bullshit, gatekeeping fucking nonsense. Like, as I was watching this video, I was just screaming, "Nerd! Shut up! Shut up! God damn it! You're the reason I don't like to go to video game conventions. Like, that's the guy that I don't want to fucking talk to. Yeah, like, I'm worried about running into you, and, like, you're gonna fucking ruin it versus all the cool people that are there." But I was just like, man, I wonder what the reaction in the Discord is gonna be. Maybe he's not maybe I'm the fucking crazy one, and everybody's gonna be like, "Oh no, you totally have to play. Like, if you're gonna write a book, if you're gonna do that." But no, everybody else was like, "Yeah, this guy's a fucking twat." It's like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not the crazy one, because I'm sitting here like listening to, and like I said, man, like, we're about to play Karate Kid. Now you are probably going to play that on the original hardware with the original, because it's right there.
That's literally the easiest way for me to play it.
Guess what? I'm not going to do
that.
I'm not going to do that. I don't own that game. I have a working top loader. I don't have a fucking CRT television. I'm not gonna fucking do that. And how dare this fucking YouTube guy tell me that my opinion on that game is invalid? How dare he fucking say that? I was so fucking angry when I watched that last night and this morning, because it was so fucking long. I was so angry. And I was like, man, I'm so thankful that our listeners get it. And then I started spiraling down of like, how does this fucking jabroni have a following? He's got like 22,000 followers.
I know.
What? Again, nothing against what we have. I love what we have. How does that guy have that much more than we do?
Yeah, I don't know. There was a
with
point
this
in
kind
time...
of nonsense content that doesn't matter and doesn't actually benefit or grow this community. Like I said, he could have said, check out Jeremy Parrish's books. Here's a bunch of links to Brett's books. Here, let's grow the positivity in the industry. Right? I think you all should buy Brett's book. I'm not going to buy it. I think it's too fucking expensive. Also, I don't care that much. But if you're into that kind of thing, I think Brett's book is fucking great. I've seen them. I've looked through them at Chris's house. They're fucking beautiful. If you can afford it and you love it and you're passionate about it, you should buy Brett's book. Because I think Brett is a good dude. But where was that in this guy's video? That was just all negativity. It was just all shit. That's not... that shit is just not cool. In my opinion. What do I know?
I know that we need to move the fuck on. I'm looking at my script and like, we're nowhere in what we have to talk about tonight. It is almost 11:30.
A 5-hour podcast up again, Chris. I'm good. I'm ready. I'm going to go brew a fucking cup of coffee.
All right. Next up in the news, the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase happened on February 21st.
I thought it was magical. Great.
Yeah,
I thought it was
great. I had
great.
a very good time. We got... I'm not going to go through every game because we don't need to talk about Ender Magnolia Bloom in the Mist. I don't know what that is.
I don't know. I thought it looked pretty cool.
Yeah, there was just neat stuff all around. We got Grounded from Microsoft. There's a Monster Hunter Stories is coming. The Unicorn Overlord still looks beautiful, and I'm never going to play that.
Best fucking name for a video game. It's the best, worst name ever. Unicorn Overlord.
Disney
Stop
Epic
it.
Mickey rebrushed, like... I can't
Out of
believe
nowhere?
that game's getting remade. That's
like a
at
fucking
one out of
RKO.
nowhere. And like that, what strikes me as weird about that is like that game's not like nostalgically beloved. Like that game,
It's
people
not.
turned
It's
on
not a
that
good game. It's not good.
People loved the concept of it, and the game came out. And it was like, well, this is okay.
It's
like-
not what we thought it was going to. I'm hoping that this remake is what we all imagined that game to be, because it's such a cool
How could
fucking
it
concept.
possibly be? It's remaking that game. It's the same game.
No, I know.
Maybe it'll fix some of the jank, but It's just going to be that game again. It's such a
It's
weird
got a lot
choice.
of fucking jank. Like, if you fix the jank, that really goes a long way, because that is like jank the fucking game, man. It's such a broken, unenjoyable experience. Like, just kind of objectively, whether you love the subject matter or not, I do. I think it's very cool. I love all that old, like, historic Disney shit.
I think I got about halfway through the game.
I found it very, very frustrating to play. Very
it was frustrating to play,
and
it was just like the actual gameplay loop was just pretty bland. But
yeah, so I mean, you polish that up, maybe.
I'm not going to buy it. I'm good. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Old Battlefront games are
those
neat.
are fun.
Yeah. Another Super Monkey Ball game. Maybe they'll get it right this time.
Nope.
World of Goo 2.
Not for me, certainly. Not for me.
World of Goo 2 looks great.
Yeah.
I liked the original Super Monkey Balls.
Yeah.
There are people who insist that Monkey Ball hasn't been good in ages, and I can't tell the difference, because I was never good enough at Monkey Ball to be like,
sure,
to really play it. I think it's a fun concept. But I'm just
not Marble
Madness.
So I'm not interested.
It's not Marble Madness. World of Goo 2 looks neat. Another Crab's Treasure looks cute. Penny's big breakaway cool. Shadow dropping.
Yeah, I know. We're going to pick that up this weekend because, as you would imagine, Penny is very excited about it.
Yeah, I know your kids were pretty stoked on that one, and I mean, I think it looks neat.
Pretty cool too. Like, honestly, it looks like a decent little game.
It's not, if there's anything I've learned from the Alphabet Super series, I'm not a huge fan of 3D platformers.
I'm not either. I'm really not.
You are.
Hat in Time. No, maybe I am. Maybe I am.
You are.
Hat in Time is great. Jersey Devil. No, this I think it looks pretty cool. I'm excited. I am way more excited for this game. If it was called like Stephanie's Big Breakaway, we would not be buying it. We'd be like, that looks fine. But the fact that it has my daughter's name,
know about that.
Her excitement is what is bringing me joy.
I think she would have been excited about it regardless, because it's from the team who made Sonic Mania, and I know.
Well, but Katie would care about it for that. Penny wouldn't give a shit about that part.
I was getting that backwards. Okay, somebody in your house would be excited about it.
Katie's excited because it's the Sonic Mania people. Penny's excited because it has her name. I feel like it's $10 too much. Like 30 feels like the wrong price for it. Like 20 feels like the right price for that. Maybe 25. 30 just feels like a bit much for it. But we're gonna have it either way. So
right. They announced. I love this, and we actually did play a little bit of this week. They announced a multiplayer mode for Suika game. It is paid DLC to get the multiplayer mode, but the
game is free.
Is the game free? I can't remember.
I thought it was, wasn't it?
It's either free or it's like $5 or something. Like the game's dirt.
I thought it was
cheap.
Free for a while. Yeah,
and the DLC was like $1.50 or something. It's like, I don't give a shit. Sure, sign me up. The amount of time, the amount of play that Suika game has had in our house is fucking obscene. So having the multiplayer mode, Karen's thought on the multiplayer mode was like, they took something that was totally chill and made it really stressful. Good for you. But that's just the versus one. There's you can play original multiplayer, which is fucking perfect, because just the two of you play the game, play the single player game at the same time, and whoever has the highest score once both of you die wins. So that's it.
Are you listening, Helldivers? It could be done.
Suika Game's got it cooking. What's your problem?
Right? It's almost the same fucking thing.
And we got a new trailer and a demo for Pepper Grinder from Devolver Digital.
That looks really cool. I haven't downloaded it yet.
It is fucking cool. It's hard. It's hard, and the music is interesting. We're not talking like the Air Twister game where you had a terrible Queen cover band the whole time. It's nothing like that. It's just the music is not really my vibe, but the game itself is pretty darn fun. I really like the concept of it, and it is fun to play, and I recommend everyone trying the demo. Pocket Card Jockey Ride On.
That's great.
I gotta try this game again. I tried it on 3DS because everyone was like, Pocket Card Jump, it's fucking brilliant. And I tried it on 3DS and I didn't understand what was I just couldn't get the hang of it. But it's
how do you not understand solitaire
and
horse racing, Chris? That two great tastes that taste great together.
I don't get it.
You're the issue.
Yeah, clearly. it's my problem. Then during the fucking sizzle reel, we finally got a release date for Contra.
Yes.
There's a release date and a demo. I played through the demo several times. Yeah, I fucking loved it.
Me too.
It's janky. Like, the Switch game's got some fucking problems, including, like, that boss, not the walls, like the original Contra boss, the walls. I don't know if it does this on the PS5 game, but on PS4 and Switch, after you beat it, that island thing that's in the middle just fucking disappears. Like, the entire geometry just, poof, gone.
Now,
and there's a lot of frame rate issues just throughout the whole thing.
I noticed none of that. I'm not going to say it's not there, because I could just not have noticed it. But the way the rest of you have been talking, I feel like I would have noticed something where I would have been like, maybe that's a little off. This game ran on the PS5 incredibly smooth. It was incredibly fun.
It was so much fun, I didn't care about the jank. There was one spot...
That's crazy.
There's one spot with the jank that actually affected gameplay. All the rest of it didn't affect gameplay. So I didn't really care. Because the game is just fucking fun. It feels like Contra. The jank surprises me because this is way forward and they know their way around the Switch at this point. They made fucking Advance Wars. So, I don't know, like, Spider Source didn't run this bad. Spider Source didn't play this good, but it didn't run this bad. So... I don't know, the fact that it's as janky as it is weird to me. But, that being said, there's one spot when right after you beat that wall boss, when you're going to the waterfall, where there's a huge frame drop while you're trying to do one of the first jumps. And so on every playthrough after that, I just stood there for a second and waited for that chunk to go past, and then I played the rest of the level just fine.
Right.
I think this game is an absolute
cycle
blast.
Through.
Exactly. Yeah. This just feels like Contra in a wonderful way, brilliantly modernized with the controls are very similar to, like, Metroid Dread, as in, like, you can play this with the D-pad if you want, and you're only going to get original NES Contra-style aiming, but if you play it with the analog stick, you have full 360-degree aiming at all times, which is really fucking cool. It's got the weapon stacking back from Contra 4. The music is outstanding. The story mode is fucking ridiculous. It sounds like Steve Bloom is voicing Bill Reiser, which, how'd you score that guy?
I love
it's wonderful. I love it.
This game, once I changed the controls to put the dash on the R2 trigger.
Once I did that, the dash needs to be on a trigger button.
I was so good because I can just...
is ridiculous.
Yeah, that I found, like, kind of counterintuitive, just like in the way that I'm trying to finagle my fingers around the buttons. But switching that to a trigger, and just having the other trigger cycle through the web. I don't need 2 cycles. I'm good.
Did you play story or arcade?
Both. I played through a couple different times. I Bill the first time, and then Probotector the first time through arcade. With the fucking grappling hook.
The grappling hook
just really
Contra
good.
4 and the fucking hover maneuver.
It's just really fucking good and fun.
Yeah, it's great. I'm thrilled. I wish it ran better, but it didn't run poorly enough to ruin the experience for me. I'm absolutely buying this one. I'm buying a physical. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with that. And I feel bad that there's jank on the other systems. I really do, because that was not my experience at all. Like I said, unless
PS4.
Unless I missed it. Man, it's just kind of the thing. Like, multi-platform, current gen, last gen, like we were talking about a little bit in the Discord with, like, the show. I thought, I was really happy for everybody that they were going to get to play the show on the Switch, on the Xbox. Like, fuck yeah, good for you guys, because it's such a good game. It still looks like shit on the Switch. It looks fucking terrible. And I can't imagine how bad it would look if they actually made a current gen version of the show. Like, that game looks the same as it did 10 fucking years ago. Like, it really honestly does. Like, if you go back and look at the character models from, like, the show 14, it's almost fucking identical. You know, so if it already looks so bad on the Switch, how much worse would it be? Like, it feels like they would almost have to make two different versions of the game. And that when multi-platform holds you back from further development, that's unfortunate. And I don't know if that's the case with Contra, where they were like, we got it running perfectly on these other systems. There'll be some jank on the other ones. Fuck them. Like, I don't know if that's way forward. Like, and not as negative as that sounds, obviously. But, like, it's just not worth it to put the time and effort into these older things when we know the Switch 2 is coming and whatever else, you know?
Right. What weirds me out about that in particular is, like, similar to Bloodstained, right? Like,
yeah,
Switch is the platform that this game is going to sell the most on, like, by a
probably,
considerable margin. I don't even think there's a probably about it.
That, yeah.
I mean, Bloodstained was like that through the Kickstarter. It was just like 10-1. Switch was by far the platform, but that wasn't the lead platform they designed it for. And like with something like Contra, why you didn't make Switch the lead platform, right? Make that the one, because if you get that up and running perfectly smooth on Switch, I don't think it's going to be that hard to make it run smoothly on the other platforms. But if you make it, I don't know, PS5 runs super smooth, and then now we got to pare it down for the Switch version. Like, you've done this backwards. Like,
I don't know, man. Yeah,
you shouldn't be targeting
that is a level
that
sort of development and the actual making of games is just not something I know enough about to
exactly.
Really
this is my best.
That's what
guess.
it feels like or seems like, but we can't sit here and say definitively.
Correct.
But it was fucking dope. It was really good.
Yeah, I really liked it. I'm super happy about it. Pentiment was the other Xbox game that's coming to Switch. And then, I refuse to call these Xbox games. I flat out fucking refuse, because there's people online writing articles about the other Xbox Studios games coming to Switch or on Nintendo Switch Online. Like, fuck off. These are not Microsoft Game Studios games. These are old, rare games. And
they're
I could
old
not
NES
be happier.
Games. You
That's
dickheads.
not true. I could be slightly happier, but...
Well, yeah.
Snake, Rattle, and Roll. I fucking love that game. I'm so happy. I'm on the fish level right now. I'm just playing through it. I'm just having a rewind button on that game. Just chef kiss. Like, I don't have anything to prove with these old games anymore, right?
No.
So, like, I'm fucking in. I spent a solid hour playing RC Pro-Am, because RC Pro-Am is just as good today as it ever was. And these games, both of these games, look and play so much better on NSO than they do in Rare Replay. Because I have Rare Replay on the Xbox One, and I don't love playing them on there. I just don't. There's input lag. The D-pad on that controller is shit. I just did not enjoy playing those games on Rare Replay.
It's the way the developer intended it, Chris. Doesn't count when you're playing it through emulation.
It really doesn't. Wait a minute, Rare Replay is emulation. Oh, no. We're all fucked.
No. It's the way the developer intended it.
So yeah, these two games, both NES games, just absolutely thrilled that they're there. I fucking love those games. Such good picks. I hope that there's more in the future, you know.
You would have to imagine that there would be, right? Like, it'd be weird if there wasn't.
Right, if they just stopped here. But like after, so you got RC Pro-Am, you got Snake, Rattle, and Roll. On Super Nintendo, you got fucking Killer Instinct. Like, I love that the Super Nintendo version of Killer Instinct is now readily available and playable online because, like,
yeah, it's fucking
I love
awesome.
the arcade Killer Instinct, but I love the Super Nintendo one. That's the one that I played the shit out of because you could buy it and play it at home, you know?
And it was a black cartridge. It was super tough.
Yeah,
it was so
great.
cool.
It was that much cooler than the gray cartridges.
Combo Breaker!
I am, I'm of two minds about Battletoads and Battlemaniacs. I don't like this game as much as the original Battletoads, which is what I would have preferred to have on NSO. However, this one's not on Rare Replay. This was never re-released before. So this is kind of the first time this is hitting a broader audience.
Thank you, Daddy Microsoft.
I haven't played a ton of this game in the past, so I'm playing it for the first time now. Not a ton of it. I'm too busy playing, games I've played a bajillion times before, like Snake Rattle and Roll. But
or games that you're getting paid to write about.
Yeah, exactly. I am putting a little bit of time into this, and it's it's interesting. And the other one's Blast Corps, which is one of those games that I always really wanted to try.
Yeah.
Here's my weird problem with Blast Corps. I bought the game because I read the premise about the game, right? That there's a nuke on a truck, and you're a bulldozer, and you have to break everything in the way. You're various machines, and you just have to break everything that's in the path of this truck. And I always wanted to buy it
awesome.
and play it from the beginning. And I got a used cartridge when I worked at Funko Land. Like, yeah, I'll pick up this game. I'll give this a try now that I have my own disposable income and time. And it was a copy that somebody had already completed the game, and I've never been able to figure out how to just delete the information and start from scratch. Ever. I have never, ever been able to find an answer to that. So I've never played Blast Corps. Until now. I played the first levels. Like, this is exactly what I read about. This is fucking great.
This is awesome.
I am not going to finish this game. There's a 0% chance of it. There's no way this game keeps my attention because it's an N64 game and I don't really love the N64 all that much. But that said, this is a great lineup. This is a great batch of games. I can't wait to see what's next. I really want them to be doing more updates for NSO, and I think they really need to leverage that this year, especially if the Switch 2 isn't coming out until early 2025. NSO is a really easy way for you to make make some business there.
Can we, okay though, okay. I see what you're doing, Microsoft. I see what you're doing, Rare. You gave GoldenEye. Thank you, Bill, Mr. Gates. Give us Conquer. Just stop fucking around.
I am very curious about that, actually. In fact, let me look at the, so my Switch is upstairs. Let me look at this in the trailer real quick. Hold on. No, Killer Instinct is rated T for teen. I was looking, I was like, oh, Killer Instinct. That's got a lot of blood in it. And so I booted up the game and it's like, sure as shit, the blood's still there, but it's only rated T for teen, I guess. So,
Give me fucking Conquer.
Do they have any M-rated stuff on NSO yet?
Not yet.
I feel like something happened with an M-rated game somewhere, and they're like some sort of setting or like an alternate version of it. I really don't remember what it is, but yeah, Conquer's Bad Fur Day on NSO would be lovely. The original Battletoads, RC Pro-Am 2, Slalom. I'm sure Banjo-Tooie. Somebody cares about that. I know a lot of people care about that. I'm not one of those people.
Oh, yeah. But stop fucking around. Stop fucking around.
Let's stop fucking around. Let's get the rest of the games that need to be on this service on the service. The Game Boy app in particular is one that I look at and just go, what are we even doing here? Like,
why does this exist if this is what's here?
Why is Super Mario Land not there? Super Mario Land 2 is there, but why is the original Super Mario Land not there yet? What are we waiting for?
Let's all stop fucking around and make this happen.
They could plop Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, and Silver. Let's go all the way through the Game Boy Advance. Let's get Emerald and Ruby, get all those Pokemon games on NSO. that would be fucking huge, right?
Yep.
Drop all the Pokemon games on NSO. Holy shit, that would be immense.
Yeah.
What are you waiting on?
It really would.
Why aren't we just doing this?
I don't know.
Whatever.
But it's very frustrating.
They ended the show with... I mean, there was apparently a leak about this at some point, but even with the leak, I don't think anybody saw them ending the show on Endless Ocean. And really good on ya.
Not the strongest show ender, I don't think.
No, it's really not. I mean, I'm sure there's Endless Ocean fans that are like, fuck, yes, sure. Finally. I have the first 2 games on Wii. I've never actually played them, but I bought them out of just the sheer curiosity of like, I should try this out at some time because this seems weird. But man, what a weird way to end the show. I'm not saying it was a bad way. I'm just saying this was a move. This was a decision on Nintendo's part to end this with Endless Ocean, Luminous, and I'm damn proud of them for doing it.
I will agree with the discussion that came up in the Discord, though. I am so thankful that we didn't hear anything about Silksong because I'm sick to death of fucking updates about that game.
There's been so much information about it in the last 6 years or whatever. It's just
we get it.
Nonstop.
You're making a game. Good for you. Oh, look, little Jimmy's making a fucking game. Good for little fucking Jimmy. I don't want to hear any more about it, you pricks.
All right, I'm going to rapid fire my way through a couple of these things. There's 2 competing headlines here. I should probably
stop talking then.
two competing headlines here that I adore. Both from Go Nintendo. Nintendo is currently Japan's richest company, and Nintendo sees biggest stock drop in a year due to Switch successor delay rumors.
Why not? That makes sense.
Because that's the world of stockholders. Nothing is ever good enough. Oh, the Switch successor's not coming out until next year. Oh, I don't know about that. That's going to drop the prices. It doesn't matter that Nintendo is literally the richest company in the country. Doesn't fucking matter. Because nothing will ever be enough for stockholders. Ever.
Is what we base our entire retirement system on. Such a good plan.
I adore this headline. Power Wash Simulator. This comes from Kotaku. Power Wash Simulator is getting Space Marines because sometimes the universe is good. There is a Warhammer 40k Power Wash Simulator crossover.
Yep.
Just love that exists. That makes me so happy. Some dude, according to Go Nintendo, some dude found a beta version of Hotel Mario for CDI at his local Goodwill.
Good for him.
It's really fucking interesting. I watched the video, and like the opening cutscene is different voice acting in it of like Mario saying press this button to do this, and in the final version he says check the instruction manual. Like it's fucking wild for the 6 of us who think Hotel Mario is fascinating.
It's not a beta version. Some fucking dude just made that in his garage. I'm just going to put this out into the world and watch the nerds go crazy.
Time Extension posted that 3 new Atari 2600 games have been found and dumped. That's pretty neat. I can't believe they're still finding shit. You gotta love that.
There was just a bunch of dudes, a couple of girls that were fucking working on Atari. They were fucked up all day. They were high. They were tripping. They were drunk. They were blitzed out of their fucking minds, and they were just like, let's fucking make games. They were just fucking going crazy. Because you didn't need a team of 7,000 people to make a game. You needed like 2 dudes and an hour. You were like, it's a new game.
Let's make some new Atari games. Pure Xbox has got the information on the rest of the Microsoft stuff coming to other platforms. So Pentiment and Grounded are not just coming to Switch, they're also going to PS5. And PS5 is also getting Sea of Thieves and Hi-Fi Rush. And
that is
rumor has
Hi-Fi Rush is already up for pre-order on PS5 as of today. Maybe
rumor has it Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves will also be coming to the Switch successor. Because folks thought it was pretty odd that they aren't coming to Switch, and apparently that was the rumor is that it's because they're coming to the next thing. This is silly to mention.
None of those are named Indiana Jones, though, so
they sure are.
I sleep.
This is a silly thing to announce here because if memory serves, let me actually make sure that I have this information right. Hold on a moment here. Let me look at my... There we go. Discord. Hold on. Scroll.
Best scene in the Marvels.
Yeah, so the
memories.
The MemCard Pro 2 for PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 is finally coming to Stone Age Gamer. People have been asking us about this forever. Yes, we are carrying it, and pre-orders went live today. However, the pre-orders are only going to be up for a week, so by the time you hear this podcast, 1 week from the day we post it, it will already be pre-orders closed. But we will be getting more of them in the future. Like we've got a great relationship with 8-Bit Mods, so it's just really nice that this thing is finally coming to more retailers, because the MemCard Pros are awesome. I did stuff with the MemCard Pro, the original one, on PlayStation 1, and then they did a GameCube version. They got little screens on them. It's basically like, this is the last memory card you'll ever need. You buy this for your system, you never need any more memory cards.
Which is great.
Lovely. Yeah, it's great. So that's a thing. Go Nintendo. Ninja 5.0 is coming out. Ninja 5.0 is getting re-released on modern platforms. Switch, PS4, and PS5. It's a Carbon Engine release from Limited Run. Konami's just like finally letting everybody go through their old back catalog of amazing games that they never re-released for some goddamn reason, and just re-releasing them. So, hooray for Ninja 5.0 making its way back into the hands of people, because we did this for Summer Series a couple years ago, I think.
A couple years ago.
This game was really cool.
I do think I'm going to buy this physically. Like, I think I'm going to bite the bullet and pre-order it.
I think I'm probably just going to wind up get a digital one.
It's such a fucking wild-ass game. And I just, I want to be able to hold that in my hand and be like, look at this fucking dumb thing I bought. I'm so happy about it.
My favorite, I cannot believe this, Choice Provisions has been teasing something on their Twitter page for like a week, and I figured it was going to be Bit Trip Rerunner, right? Because that's the new thing.
Yeah.
But it's actually Runner 2. Runner 2 is coming to Switch on February 29th. I can't fucking believe it. It's my favorite one. It is my favorite game in that series. And I love every game in the Bit Trip series, but Runner 2 is my favorite. That game's a fucking masterpiece. And I'm so glad it's coming to Switch. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's pretty great. It is such a good game.
It really is. I'm
really
playing the original Runner again because of this. I was like, you know what? Let me see if I can refinish the... I got 3/4 of the way through Runner when that released on Switch before having to move on to other games. And I was like, I should go back and try to finish this one. Just because I haven't beaten the original Runner in a long time, and I wanted to go back to Runner 3 numerous times over the last year or so, but I kept holding out hope that Runner 2 was coming for some reason, and apparently I had good reason to, because here it is, on February 29th, just a couple days from today. I will be playing Runner 2 on Switch, and I could not be happier.
Yeah, that's fucking great. Like, and it's such a shame. Runner 3 is great, but it's not Runner 2. Like, it's almost how do you follow
magic.
That game up?
Yeah, Runner 2 had this very specific magic. Runner 3 was more ambitious. And I really appreciate Runner 3 for the ambition, but I prefer this game to be a little bit simpler. And I think Runner 2 really... Runner 2 is... Runner 1... was amazing at the time, and then Runner 2 it added the exact right amount of complication to it, complexity to it. It's just hit that perfect sweet spot. It's just such a wonderful game.
Such a good soundtrack.
Oh, yes, indeed.
So good. So good.
Okay, that wraps it up for Week Old News. I do have one more thing to talk about, and that is the winners of the gift card for the gift card giveaway for episode 500. We have 5 winners. Each of these people get $100 gift cards. So congratulations to and I'm terrible with names. Lynn Crumpton, Don Robbins. I know a guy named Don Robbins. I was friends with a guy named Don Robbins.
I know a guy.
I have no idea if you're the same. If you're the same Don Robbins that used to hang out with me a long time ago, let me know, because that's really cool. I got the list of names for Ryan of the winners, like Don Robbins. I feel like I know a Don. Anyways, Don Robbins, Sean Queeker, the amazing Chris Godby, and Jamie Hill. So congratulations to the 5 of yous for winning your $100 gift cards. You've probably gotten emails about that, and there you go. Congratulations. Happy times for all. And with that, we're going to take ourselves a quick break, and we're either going to end the show right now and do the 10, 20, 30, 40 another time, or we're just going to stay up all goddamn night. You're listening to the Stone Age Gamer podcast from Geekade.com. Stick around.
We are Safe at Home, the leading dog rescue in the heart of New Jersey. Are you searching for a loyal companion, a dog that will bring love and joy to your home? Look no further than Safe at Home. At Safe at Home, we believe in giving every dog a second chance. We rescue, rehabilitate, and find loving forever homes for dogs in need, right here in the Garden State. Our dogs are ready to make a lasting impact on your life. Each one has a unique story, a wagging tail, and an incredible capacity for love. When you adopt from Safe at Home, you're not just gaining a pet, you're becoming a part of our family. Our dedicated team ensures a seamless adoption process, providing ongoing support and guidance. With New Jersey's beautiful parks, beaches, and trails, you and your new furry friend will have endless opportunities for adventures and cherished memories. Safe at Home relies on the support of compassionate individuals like you. Your donations and volunteer work enable us to continue saving lives and finding forever homes for these amazing dogs. Join us in creating a safer, happier community for dogs in New Jersey. Together we can make a difference and give every dog the chance to feel safe at home. Visit our website or call us now to learn about how you can be a part of the Safe at Home mission. Safe at Home, because every dog deserves to be loved and protected. www.safeathomerescue.org.
Hi everyone, Chris here. Podcast listening is free, but podcast creation is not. That's why the Geekade Patreon exists. In an effort to help us pay the bills, we've got a Patreon page set up where you can gain access to our monthly podcast topic schedule, get early access to many of our shows, and more. If you'd like to help support Geekade and keep these shows running week after week, head over to the Geekade Patreon page, linked in the show notes of this very podcast. All right, everybody, we are back. It's time for the 10, 20, 30, 40, and I'm going to do this fairly quickly. So, Dan, you'll be prepared. We're not going to stop and talk about all these games, unless it's something you really fucking want to talk about.
No, I'm turning my mic off.
We're just going to go through this. All right? So, let's go back to the 10. We're talking 2014, the year of our Lord, 2014. We're going to start with the PlayStation 3. I'm skipping over a lot of the nonsense. We had Puyo Puyo Tetris, which was fucking great. The Lego Movie game. There was a Far Cry compilation. Some Borderlands DLC. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. Assassin's Creed 4. Black Flag Multiplayer Character Pack 2 Guild of Rogues. Man, fuck off with that nonsense. What's The Last of Us Left Behind?
Oh, that was like the additional little like story bit that they put out.
Huh.
It's sad.
Oh boy.
Like
wow,
everything else in The Last of Us. It's very sad.
I completely forgot this existed. Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13. They really tried to make that character like a thing.
They really did. She's cool.
Did not succeed at all. Sitting at a 66 Metascore.
Because none of it has ever been fucking Final Fantasy VII. That's all anybody ever wanted again. That's it.
Strider, that was pretty cool. I played some of that.
That's a great fucking game. I really like that. Excellent scarf animation.
Force. There was Far Cry nonsense. Like a Dragon Ishin.
That just came out.
That's
now.
a Japanese game. That's a Japanese game,
right? Yeah, that's the Yakuza series, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, we're still in February. Jeez, man. PlayStation 3. Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2? Wow, all right. That was February.
I like that game.
John.
I like the
Tales
Lords of Shadow
of
stuff.
Symphonia Chronicles.
Sure.
And then we're into March. Okay. Not a bad PlayStation 3 month.
I mean, it's really almost never a bad month when you get a new Castlevania game.
True.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over on the PlayStation 4, they also got Strider. They got Lego Movie, Zen Pinball, something or other. You got Thief, Basement Crawl. Rayman Legends came out for PS4 because that game gets ported to everything.
It really does.
And that's it for February. Okay.
Man, Thief, that game is still like, it's on sale every other week. Like, still, they're like, nah, have you played this yet, though? It's been around really for a while. We liked it.
We liked it. We think you will, too. Over on the Xbox 360, still kicking in February of 2014, we've got Vital Force, Lego Movie, more of that Far Cry nonsense, Assassin's Creed, Lightning Returns, blah, 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 blah. World of Tanks. Okay, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
To people other than me.
No, I know that sounds very dismissive. I know it was hugely popular, just not for me.
Yeah. Some combo pack, Borderlands combo pack. Yeah, it's just a lot of re-releases, a lot of like filler content. You got Thief, Flapping Avatars, Lords of Shadow 2.
Is it Mercury Steam that made the Lords of Shadow shit?
Yeah. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare.
Man, you remember when Plants vs. Zombies was like the fucking thing?
It was a thing. Yeah, I was
so wild. Big. That Angry Birds, like that advent of mobile gaming was like, oh no, these don't like suck. So we're going to just milk the shit out of them. There's going to be toys and Burger King tie-ins. It's going to be fucking awesome. And
that's it for 360.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, just a perfectly average month, I guess. How about the old Xbox One?
It's a perfectly average February.
How about the X-Bone? The X-Bone's got
the bone.
From the people who brought you that other stuff, more of the same. Lego Movie, Assassin's Creed DLC, Strider, Rayman Legends, Thief. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What about the Wii U? The Wii U's got to be great. Come on. Wii U's all February all the time. We got Puyo Puyo Tetris. We've got the Lego Movie. Oh, Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. It's a fucking masterpiece of a game. Nothing else this month matters.
Definitely not the best place to play it, though, on the Wii.
No, the Wii U, not the best place to play Tropical Freeze. The loading times are insane. Get that game on Switch. Because it definitely should be bought. Just not, here necessarily. I mean, it's still very good on Wii U. I beat it on Wii U. It was fine, but it's better on Switch.
Yeah.
So there you go. Okay. I guess this is what we're calling a good month for the Wii U. I mean, it's two solid games, Puyo Puyo Tetris and Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Okay. I'll still call it a win. What about the original Wii? Nothing. Fat lot of nothing. DS, the original DS. Anything come out in February on Nintendo DS? Let's see. December, February, here we go. We got Odakake Takorin. We've got Lego Marvel Superheroes. And that's it.
All right, then.
I mean, this system is beyond its last legs at this point. The fact that there's anything coming out at all and in 2014 is hooray for you. What about the 3DS, though? What about the 3DS? 3DS looks like it actually has some pretty decent stuff. It's got Puyo Puyo Tetris. It's got Retro City Rampage. It's got...
Fuck that game so hard.
I know you hate
is
that
an
game.
atrocity. Ugh.
Dragon Quest Monsters 2, the original Bravely Default, some One Piece game, Steel Diver Sub Wars, Inazuma 11, Eterno Blade. I've heard of that. I don't know what that is. Looks like that's about it. All right, are we continuing? Oh no, February's still going. Just not with anything of value.
Fair.
And yeah, no. Oh no, Professor Layton. There was a Professor Layton in the Azran Legacy. Wow,
Fuck.
this is a pretty solid February. Way to go! Way to go, 3DS. That's not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Fuck, I love
what about-
Professor Layton.
I want to. I'm just not smart enough.
No, that's fair.
This game's make me feel like an idiot. PSP had a bunch of anime nonsense and a soccer game.
Yeah, that sounds about like every month for the
That's
PSP.
the PSP for you in a nutshell. PlayStation
really is.
Vita. PlayStation Vita has Puyo Puyo Tetris, King Oddball, Dust Force.
Dust Force is so good.
Is it?
I fucking
Never
it's
heard
such
of
a weird ass Capcom game. I fucking love it though. We do not have enough time to get into why Dust Force is great. Dust Force is great.
I'll take your word for it. Gunslugs. I actually have this game on Atari VCS. I didn't know it was that old. Trolley Bird, which is a ripoff of Flappy Bird. Infinite Stratos 2. You have a bunch of anime nonsense, and then we're good. Oh, PlayStation Vita. Nobody made good games for you. And then, of course, last but not least, or actually, no, last but absolutely least, we have the Ouya.
Yep.
Where is February 2014? Anything? Oh, we got two. February 2014, we got Chess 2, the sequel, and Tux Racer.
Two of the greatest games
Single
ever made.
greatest experiences in the realms of video games that you could possibly imagine.
Yep.
So let's see, where's my 2004? All right, let's head back to the 20. The 20 is 2004. Let's kick things off with the PlayStation 1. Were there any games for PlayStation 1 in February 2004? That was only the 10. Here's the 20. There were actually two PS1 games listed in February 2004. The Disney Collector's Edition, which is a 3-pack of Lion King, Walt Disney Racing, and Toy Story 2, and the Three Stooges for PlayStation 1. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in actual current generation platforms,
I
in 2004,
really hope that for the fucking Super Series, I have the letter T. Because I know what we're playing.
doing. All right, look at this. Look at this. This is February 2004.
I can't.
Fucking February 2004 for PlayStation 2. And I'm only going to list off the stuff that I think matters.
Right.
We got Air Force Delta Strike. I know people like the Air Force Delta series. It's not an amazing thing, but it's there. We've got R-Type Final, Puyo Pop Fever, Nightshade, the sequel to Strider. Not Strider, Shinobi. Champions of Norath. That Lupin the Third game, which was okay.
But that was kind of a big deal that it came out.
Yeah, it was neat that we got that in the States at all. World Soccer, the Winning 11, whatever it was called that year. 007, which 007 is this? Everything or Nothing. We got Jet Li, Rise to Honor, Pitfall, The Lost Expedition, MX Unleashed. And we're still going on a different page. Let's see, we're still in February. Final Fantasy X-2 International plus Last Mission. I don't know about that one. New Romance of the Three Kingdoms game. All this stuff came out in Japan. Holy shit, we're still in February. A third page with February still on it. But nothing. Lifeline? No, that was March. That's it. We're out. That's pretty solid. That's some good stuff.
An absurd month.
February.
February? That is an absurd February.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
That was when Konami was doing, like, I forget what they called that line, but R-Type Final was part of it. Where
Fresh.
Where they had the
R-Type
fucking
Final,
yellow
Mr. Mosquito, and Mad Maestro.
The yellow packaging and whatnot. I thought, I was like, this is so cool. And then they just did what Konami does and totally gave up on the idea. They're like, fuck it. Do something else.
But that's a pretty solid February for any platform. But that was just PS2. PS2 just constantly had games. Now, what of the competition, sir? What of the Xbox? What of it? What of the Xbox? We have Intellivision Lives, Silent Scope Complete, Unreal 2. No, Intellivision Lives. This was back when Intellivision was...
The whole brand is dirty to me now. Just boo everything in television.
Retroactive. The James Bond game, the Pitfall game, the MX Unleashed game, plus MTX Motor Tracks. We got 2 MX games in the same month. There's a Steel Battalion thing. Oh, Ninja. No, that was next month. Son of a bitch. Wow, that was it. Wow.
That's not much.
Was it for That's not much. A lot of it's the same. Not quite as impressive. What about the old GameCube, huh? Nothing hits quite as hard as GameCube, right? We've got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. That's where my bucket joke came from. Pokemon Coliseum. There you go.
That's pretty big.
The James Bond game, the Pitfall game, and that's it for February. Small, but not terrible. Not terrible.
Not the PS2 though.
No, it's not PS2, not by a long shot. But hooray for that Pokemon game. Good job. What about the Game Boy Advance? What about the Game Boy Advance in February 2004? I'm gonna guess. Oh boy, this is gonna be hard to top. So there was a Yu-Gi-Oh game. There was a Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance for Game Boy Advance. The Pitfall game came out for Game Boy Advance, but this was February 9th, 2004. Metroid Zero Mission.
Oh my god, I fucking love that game so much.
That's hard to top. I don't think anything's gonna top that this month.
I don't know that there's any game that has made the original version of itself more obsolete than Zero Mission.
I'm not going to fight you on that.
I can't think of one. Yeah.
There were no Nokia N-Gage games this month, Dan. That's a
son
tragedy.
Of a bitch. That is disappointing.
I go straight from January to April. Not going to get any next month either. That's a shame. Side talking taco.
Acceptable.
Well, there you go. In my book, GBA wins that just because Metroid Zero Mission is one of the best games ever made.
It's not even close. Not even close, that game.
That was a good month for PS2, but seriously, Metroid Zero Mission. Fuck off.
Yeah.
1994. Good old 1994. What are we looking at here? I brought up these pages for some reason. I think there was like a... Why did I bring... this was arcades. So February saw Ridge Racer hit the arcades in 1994.
That was pretty great in the arcades, yeah. That was pretty great on the PlayStation, but really great.
That's about the only thing that I can think of that I'm looking at this Wikipedia page for. So let's go to the NES, the Nintendo Entertainment System, as they call it. Why am I doing this on my second screen? This should just be in front of me. Why am I... I'm looking really over to the right, looking past my mic stand, like some kind of goober. What are we looking for? We're looking for February 1994. God, 94, still pumping out NES games. Was there anything in February is the question. Yeah, we've got 2. We've got, Alfred Chicken and Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters.
Oh, shit.
Turtles Tournament Fighters is
interesting, and one of those is Alfred Chicken.
Come on, Alfred Chicken's not that bad.
It really is. So I stand by it. It's the hill I'm going to die on, Chris.
How about Chicken? Super Nintendo? Oh, God. Why does Wikipedia does this thing? I don't even know why I even bother. Because it'll just be like, you know what? I know you pressed this button, but I'm going to start this page over again for no goddamn reason. All right.
I'm just going to go back to the top.
94. We're in 93. Okay. February 94. Now, if I remember correctly, Super Nintendo had a bunch of games, whereas Genesis had like a couple games, but one of them was really good. So we've got Super Alfred Chicken, R.D. Lightfoot, Bill Walsh College Football, Flashback, Mickey's Ultimate Challenge, Pro Sport Hockey, Sports Illustrated Championship Football and Baseball, Super Bases Loaded 2, Super Troll Islands, T2 the arcade game, Turn and Burn No Fly Zone, Winter Olympic Games, Lilyhammer 94, Excalibur 2097, Bugs Bunny Rabbit Rampage, Ninja Warriors, people like that game, and ASP Airstrike Patrol. That was a perfectly average month for the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, nothing really stands out other than Flashback.
Mickey's
like not
Ultimate
a bunch of games
Challenge.
that you return to. Yeah.
Yeah. Neat stuff, but nothing to super write home about. However, on the Sega Genesis, if memory serves, absolutely wins this month.
The Genesis?
Yes.
That's how it's pronounced. The Genesis.
February 1994, we've got Bubba and Sticks. Chester Cheetah, Wild Wild West. Crystal's Ponytail.
Ooh.
Joe and Mac, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. That's all great. But then in February, we got Sonic the Hedgehog 3, quite possibly my favorite Sonic game, and Sparkster Rocket Knight Adventures 2.
Yeah, man, fuck, that's a really good month for the Genesis. It's
like a bunch of average nonsense and then two really fucking good games.
Two like all-time Genesis games.
Yeah. I like
in one
Sparkster.
Month. Fuck, man.
Not as much as the original, but yeah. Sonic 3 and Sparkster in the same month. It's a big bag of win. Good job, Sega Genesis. But what about your CD-based add-on, huh? What did the Sega CD have to say about things in 1994? In February, specifically of 1994, had Mansion of Hidden Souls, and that is it. As far as I can tell.
Didn't need anything else, honestly. That was it. You put out Mansion of Hidden Souls, you're like, fuck, we better push everything else back a month.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 right there.
Have you seen what we got coming out? Fuck, delay.
As far as I can tell, there's nothing on Sega. No, this is TurboGrafx 16. Nothing on TurboGrafx 16. How about the old Neo Geo? How about Neo Geo? Did we get anything in February 2004? Looks like Metal Slug 5.
That's fun. I love the Metal Slug shit. It's so fun. Yeah.
Let's keep going with the Metal Slug. How's about... now we got 3DO, and 3DO is a pain in the balls because their release dates are kind of all over the map. But there seemed to be Total Eclipse from Crystal Dynamics was... Wait, no, that was wrong. Sorry, Another World, which was Out of This World, I think. That's what that yeah. Out of This World came out in February 1994 on 3DO.
In Different World, pretty good TV show.
Wow, I just totally forgot that show existed.
Yeah, no. Unlocking a core memory for you. Coming home after school, watching A Different World. I'm here for you.
Somebody should be. February 1994 on the Game Boy looked like Alfred Chicken, Captain America and the Avengers, Dennis the Menace.
So much Alfred Chicken.
Simpsons Bart versus the Beanstalk, Total Carnage, WCW World Championship Wrestling, the main event, and Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. That's pretty great one. That's great.
Yeah, the rest of that shit you just mentioned really doesn't matter.
They certainly were video games.
They certainly were. I mean, I fucking love... Don't get me wrong. When there's a new Dennis the Menace, I am first in line. Love that little fucking asshole. But, man, Wario Land, that's really good. It's a really good game.
And we'll close things out with the Game Gear that got The Simpsons, Bart Meets Radioactive Man. Good job, Game Gear.
Yeah, and
that brings us to the 40. We did it. I'm sorry this episode's going to be so goddamn lopsided for everybody listening. 3 hours
we got
in the
an editor.
And yeah, he'll make it work. He always does. So let's see what was going on in 1984.
Really?
Arcade? Anything? I don't know what I'm doing. Launches the initial version of the boxing game Punch-Out! On February 17th. Oh yeah, looks like
shit.
Punch-Out! Hit arcades on February 17th. Well, there you go. Good for you, arcades.
What a fucking wild difference between the arcade Punch-Out! And Mike Tyson's Punch-Out!
Right? Really weird.
Such a weird difference. Both excellent. Totally different games, though.
Yeah, like you can definitely notice some similarities, but yeah, they're very different experiences. Here's a weird one. There were no Atari 2600 games. According to our AtariArchive.org, there were plenty in January. There's some real fucking winners next month, but absolutely nothing in February. It's kind of weird.
They were just too fucked up. We forgot to make the games. Fuck. We lost them. That's where all these lost games keep coming from. Yeah, February 1984. It was the release slate. It's all gone.
You go. Absolutely nothing for Intellivision. Atari 5200, though, got Berserk, Mario Brothers, Mega Mania, and Return of the Jedi, Death Star Battle.
Oh, love a good Death Star battle.
I love Berserk.
I love Berserk. Berserk is great.
I do not care for the Mario Brothers Atari 5200 game, and I've never seen Mega Mania running on 5200. I love Mega Mania on 2600.
Yeah.
I don't know. How about the ColecoVision? February 94 saw Campaign 84, Frenzy, Gustbuster, Pitfall, Quest for Quintanaru, River Raid, and Tutankhamun. I don't know much about the Coleco-specific ports of those, but those are some pretty solid games.
They are. I think the Pitfall on Coleco was pretty great.
I'll bet it was.
It wasn't Ladybug or Mousetrap, so I wasn't fucking playing it.
Well, there you go. And as far as I can tell, nothing on the Vectrex. And that wraps this shit up. 20 minutes.
That's right.
We did it.
Done. Fucking
shit.
That was tight.
That was a top heavy. That was segment. A top heavy half of this show. This is a strange episode.
This show is a power top if there ever was one.
Oh boy. All right. Well, there you have it. That's our show. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here.
Wait, they were watching?
I don't know. I just got really tired all of a sudden. Join us next time for another SAG Cartoon Express. We're going to be discussing Mega Man Season 2, Episode 12, Bad Day at Peril Park. I got super excited last week because I thought this was the X episode, but that's just because the episodes in the Plex server were all mixed up. This is, in fact, not the Mega Man X episode. This is just going to be an episode of Mega Man. But anyways, yes, if you're in our Discord, I know you'll be hearing this a week late, but if you're in our Discord, we're going to try to arrange something. If you're having trouble tracking down the episode and need a way to watch it so you can enjoy the episode better, let us know. That's all I'm going to say. And with that, we're on most social media platforms, and if you want to get in touch with us, we aren't very difficult to find. All it takes is a quick look at our show notes, and you'll see links to our social media accounts, as well as all manner of other fun stuff, like a link to our namesake, StoneAgeGamer.com, and more useful links than you can shake a joystick at. If you'd like to get early access to this show's episodes, as well as a bevy of other shows on the Geekade Podcast Network, check out our Patreon, also linked to in the show notes. It helps keep the show running week after week, and all our patrons are loved and appreciated. This show's theme song, Squared Roots, was written by Banjo Guy Ali. You can learn all about his wonderful music and more by following the link to his YouTube channel, also in the show notes. And finally, as always, we'd like to thank our intrepid editor, Evan, for making this show listenable for all you folks. And we'd like to thank all you folks for listening in the first place. That's it, everybody. God, the inside of my mouth hurts. Thanks for listening. On behalf of Dan and myself, keep playing games.